Hello, world.
What's up, guys? This is Max here. Dave the Wave. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, Max? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I don't look as good as you tonight. You have the fresh, locked-in tee with the hair slicked back.
Man, I love these tees. These are unbelievable, guys. Make sure you get more locked-in tees. Get locked in like us.
Yeah, our goal is to go to the mall and everyone have a locked-in tee.
Wow, that's a great goal to have in life.
But anyway, this episode, guys, we have Anthony Arvelo Jr. in the studio, the promoter of Undisputed, and we talk everything Undisputed May 19th at the Guilt. Another event is going down. It's
Battle
terrific.
Of the champions.
Yeah, we really cannot wait. So make sure you guys support him, support Anthony, support Undisputed. And if you like the episode, hit that subscribe button. It's on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, anywhere you can find a podcast.
Even Spotify.
And we also debate the top 20 most dominant athlete in the past 20 years.
It's such a great debate. It was one of the most fun we've ever had in this podcast. It was awesome.
Yeah, we debate right off number 20. We're like, okay, let's just list our top 10, like 20 through 10, and let's run through that kind of quick so we could debate the top 10. But no, we debate every single one. It's the best.
It's awesome. It's one of the best shows we've ever had. Anthony was awesome. One of the best guests I think we've ever had. So much great knowledge he dropped for us. We dropped so much great knowledge in our top 20. One of the best shows.
And lastly, if you guys have any questions, whether it's for Anthony, whether it's our top 20, you can like the Facebook page and join the group, because we're going to throw this poll out there. And if you disagree with what I'm saying, what Dave is saying, we want to hear you guys. We are the People's Podcast. So join the movement and like the Locked In page on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere.
Forever can spare 15 minutes.
Wow. Anthony did say he likes deep quotes.
There you go,
So there we
one's
go.
for you.
And like,
enjoy the show.
Yep. Okay.
Drive safe. Fasten your seatbelt.
And like always, stay locked in. All right, we're live? Okay, what's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Before we get started today, a couple things we have to bring up.
Okay. Do you want to introduce people first or just go
Okay, let's introduce people
I think that's
first.
the
Because
nice
I was
thing to
actually
do.
going to use Anthony as my example here. So we have myself, Max Van Auken.
Okay.
David Van Auken, fresh locked in T.
That is me with the T.
We have JT Money over here, and we have Sean over here, the magic behind the scenes, the producers. There we go.
He's so happy.
And
I
now
know it.
we have the pleasure of having Anthony Arvelo Jr. I got that Jr. right this time.
You did.
Promoter of Undisputed. And by the way, our first sponsor is Wicked Cutz. Look at this fresh cut. I'm
Woo!
not saying he got it from Wicked, but it just reminded me of
could
Wicked
get it from
Cutz.
Wicked Cutz because they do give the best damn haircuts in town.
Yes, they do. They
Two
have
locations.
two locations. You beat me to it. Daytona and Port Orange. Get the freshest cut there is right now. And is it Wednesday and Thursday?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Oh, I was close. I got one of the days right.
$5 off.
If you
Any
mention
haircut.
Locked In.
Locked in.
Okay. So every Tuesday and Wednesday, $5 off, mention Locked In.
Okay.
They also have, let me tell you,
Keep going. Yeah.
they have Mike Davis through there. So you may go in the barbershop and you see Mike Davis, who's about to go professional, UFC.
That's
So you
big,
can
man.
get your cut there. You can see Dave and I there. So check out Wicked Cutz.
Okay.
Now let's jump right into Pep-Boys. Dave, you always use the best saying there is right now.
They're the guys you trust.
I know,
There's
but your
nothing
example is
more-
perfect.
I know, because I'm a family man, 2 kids, beautiful wife. There's nothing more important than your family, and I drive everywhere all the time. I drive for a living. So, you want to keep your family safe. You want to get good tires. Go to Pep-Boys. See our man Richie at the Daytona International store. He will hook you up.
Yeah. And like
That's
I
my
said,
Pep-Boys
I always
story.
have that story where your car goes do when you start up, and you're like, oh, damn.
Max is going to get that new whip sooner or
Yeah,
later.
make sure you go to Pep-Boys. Not only does he give you the best deal, the best bang for your buck, he also assures that the problem is fixed. Because I've gone to, this is no disrespect, but any other automotive type of store,
Why would you go anywhere
auto
else other than
shop,
Pep-Boys?
and they say you fix your car, but it's truly not fixed, and you end up going 3 or 4 times for the same issue because it wasn't addressed correctly.
Okay.
So make sure you check out Pep-Boys. And lastly, we have Fit Meals.
Absolutely. Anthony, you know Dimitri from Fit Meals?
Yes, I do.
He's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man. He
Good
keeps
guy.
everyone fit.
Yeah, he actually was a part of Alan Knight's camp. for Clash of the Titans.
He did get the W on that.
Yes, he did.
There you go. So Fit Meals is helping champions.
Yeah, what I love about Fit Meals, and I'll say it again, is the fact that it's for everybody. It could be a friend. It could be someone who just works so much they don't have time to cook. It could be an athlete, lose weight, gain muscle. Fit Meals is absolutely for everybody. To get more information and start your meal plan today, visit myfitmeals.com. And what's the number? Do you have it at the top of your head?
Always 844-FIT-4-YOU. 844-FIT-4-YOU.
Okay.
All right.
We're out. We're good. We're started.
We're good.
Anthony's
We paid the
joining
bills.
us.
I'm
We
here.
pay the bills.
I'm here.
Anthony's finally in the studio. Time to go right down into business. What's going down? Obviously, Undisputed has a big event coming up. What's going down at the Guilt?
We have Undisputed Fight Night 4.
Okay.
We kind of put it out there last week, but and this one's going to be special. I mean, every show has something special to it. We always have something different as far as a theme. But this one, I think, is necessary to call it Battle of Champions. And the reason why is since Undisputed came out, people that have been following the promotion has come in and seen people get awarded the title. So so now it's time to get more than just 3-4 title fights, get more title fights in there, and watch these champions battle it out.
And this is going
I like
down May 19th, right?
I like it. May 19th.
May 19th, everybody lock it in.
Oh, look at this. Already thrown out the locked in.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
My first question to you would be, what makes Undisputed unique? Because there's a lot of promotions out there, but Undisputed just seems to have that it factor that you see in fighters, you see in athletes. What makes Undisputed unique?
You know, the fact that the promotion doesn't follow what any other promoter or promotional company does. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it different. Is that the promotion doesn't worry about what's going on. It has a vision. I have a vision on what I want to do, and I stay focused on it. Of course, I'm inspired by those who have achieved greatness, but I'm also, motivated by those who want to reach that. So the reason why Undisputed is unique is because I come out, we're out here with these champions. I've been around the gyms a long time, so it's always fun to see these trainers, and they see me, they're like, oh, I used to train this guy, or he used to be in the gym. And then it's a family thing. We're all together in this, and we're going to make it big.
That's what's unique about you, though, is that you're not only a promoter, but you're a fighter as well. I don't know if I still say current fighter or do I say was a fighter. So that I kind of want to leave up to you, whether you want to fill in the blanks there.
I did
because you look in shape. Yeah, I think you could come out of retirement and fight.
No, I never retired.
Oh, see, there you go. So you're a fighter.
I didn't when I did this, and it's out there because I post up pictures of past when I was training and fights and things like that, and I constantly get asked the question, when you're gonna fight again. But I think with me is that a world title, and a lot of these guys have them 20-year-olds. They got them big goals. They want the world title. They want to fight the big fighters. Now, I'm 32 years old. I do this because I love it, not because I'm worried about millions of dollars or pay-per-view title fights. I do it because I'm a natural-born fighter.
That's a pretty great answer, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I think you having that background of being a fighter allows you to see both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
You see both sides of, like how they say, both sides of the argument. Make sure you play devil's advocate and realize both sides. Well, you know what it's like to be a fighter, and you know what it's like to have somebody, I'm sure, who's maybe not a great promoter or has the best interest in mind, but now you're also a promoter. So you know what works on both ends and what doesn't work. So I think that catapults you above a lot of people as far as advantage-wise, knowing the game in and out. Because a lot of people don't have that. I mean, Dana White said he did box, actually, right? Back in the day. But to actually be a fighter and a promoter, I think very few obviously have done it. And I think that's what makes Undisputed unique in my eyes, is because of the perspective that you have.
Yeah, because we're so open. It's just, whether you're a beginner, whether you're advanced, whether you're a kid, it doesn't matter. We're open to it. The shows changes up because there's other organizations out there that have their way of doing things. They have their own prices on tickets. They have their own selective fighters. They might do Muay Thai. They might do MMA. They might do boxing. Everybody has their own twist. It's what you could do and how you can make your twist special. You know what I'm saying? So if you could do that, then you'll be up there in the game.
That
I
makes
love
sense. By the way, excuse my eye. So now I'm going to be sniffling because my eye's watering. It's my contact. No. That's why I wanted to make sure. Even though your answers are sincere and they're from the heart, I'm not tearing up because of the answer. My contact's bothering me, so I do apologize if I'm sniffling
Max,
over
always
here.
make the guest feel good.
Yeah,
You're
I know,
crying, you're
I'm not trying to
crying.
take away from the guest. I'm just letting you guys know.
Yeah, a lot of shows that you make the interviewers try and get the guest to cry. This time
I
our
know,
guest
I'm
is getting our
crying.
host to cry.
JT, we got a Facebook question?
Yeah, well,
Cool.
no. Jesus said it's great that you're giving local fighters the opportunity to feel the experience of the real deal fighting.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
You know,
Now I'm crying.
that's a good one. You said his name was Jesus
Yeah, Jesus Pina.
Pina.
If
You
I
know,
said that right, I'm sorry if I didn't.
yeah, it was
Terrible.
pretty good. You know, and to say something to that is the local shows is just building the reputation and showing what we could bring. But eventually, you know, we want to be able to move around. You know, I tried. Let's throw it out there. I tried to get a show out of Orlando. You know, and it's still there being worked on. But again, there's still some unfinished business locally before we can start branching out.
Okay. Well, before I have my next question for you, but before we get started, I also want to mention 104.7.
Okay.
Every morning at 8:35 a.m., sometimes 8:40 a.m., we have the Locked In Minute,
Yep.
obviously. And make sure you check them out if you're busy and you're up late the next day and you didn't know what you missed. That Locked In Minute will give you everything you need to know. And it's by Frank. So big special thank you to Frank.
Definitely. Maybe in the future we can announce some big fights on there. We can talk about Undisputed May 19th and the
There
Locked
we
In
go.
Minute. Let's get everyone out there. We want to pack Guilt Up. I want it packed.
You know, the fights are gonna be matched to where the people are gonna come out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's actually kind of my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Is how do you decide which fights to make? Because you have so many fighters that want to fight on your card. You have so much talent. How do you know what fight is a good fight? Like, how do you know that's going to be an entertaining fight?
It comes with you got to have good judgment. One, I know a lot of the trainers, so I could, you know, sometimes you'll say, "What gym are they from? Who they train with?"
Uh-huh.
I know that trainer. I know how they train. I know they're coming to bring something. You know, not only that, but social media has been great for fighters trying to promote themselves and things like that. So you can see videos on them. You see the stuff that they're doing and the success that they're achieving and stuff. So it's like when you see that, all right, if I get this guy who's trying to come up and this guy who's trying to come up and I put them both together to
Yeah.
try to test themselves out, it's perfect.
That Blaine Woods versus Mexico fight, that was at Clash of the Champions. That was the best fight I've seen live. Like,
Agreed.
I've been to
Wow.
100%
UFC,
agreed.
MMA
Wow.
events, tons of them, local boxing. That Blaine Woods Mexico fight was the best fight I've ever seen live.
It was
could be-
passionate. It was passionate.
Yeah.
They
You
both
heard what
wanted
they were
it.
saying.
It wasn't the best technical. You know what I
Right,
mean? It
right.
was just like it felt like a Rocky movie in a little bit. It was like
Heart.
all heart. They were throwing.
It was good for me because I coached Blaine in football when he was younger.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and I was texting him. I'm like, "Hey, you're fighting on the Undisputed card?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it's my title fight." I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"You better win that." And I got there. I had another job. I got there right as it happened. I got to go down there ringside. That was awesome for me.
In case you don't know, JT knows everybody. So apparently in every
Pretty
story we bring up, he either coached them, knows them, or helped them out some way or another. So just be prepared for that in the future. I'm sure that'll happen again.
You know, Blaine. Blaine's he's a pretty good boxer. You know.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think he was. I just he's athletic. You know. I seen him in the ring. And that's what helped him in the fight. Of course, he has a really good coach. Very very good friend of mine. And I seen him in there. I was like, wow. You know, he's moving good. His jab is good. And then Mexico, I know Mexico. I trained with him in the gym too,
He's
you
a
know.
stud.
And he's got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And you know, those Mexicans, they got to live up to their reputation. And they're tough, and they're going to keep coming. And Mexico kept coming.
It was like I always tell, I talk to Dave about this, obviously. You know talent when you see it, but there's one thing you can't train is heart.
Yeah.
You can't train a mindset. Like, of course, you can always train them to be better and critique their
Yeah.
skill set. But
Mhm.
that heart that you saw in that fight is something that you just can't teach. You have to have a passion and love for boxing. And both of them clearly did. And I don't know if there's a rematch in the future between those two. I don't know that, but I do know those two definitely hashed it out. Like, it was just an exciting fight that I could see over and over again. I don't care how many times they fight, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Mexico, I don't know if he's watching right now, but I would love to put the rematch together if they wanted to do that fight. I know they both talked about it. After the fight, they mentioned
This could be some breaking news right
no,
now.
I
Locked in is making fights.
No. I talked to
Matchmaking Max.
No, I talked to Mexico, and
Yeah.
he's got other plans. So, but Blaine, definitely get him to defend that belt.
Yeah.
Is there obviously you look for where the kid's fighting out of. You obviously want to see the kid fight, but is there a certain thing that you see in a fighter you're like, wow, I want to get him on a card? Like, what's the first thing you look at when you're looking at a match and you're analyzing the talent? Is there a particular trait or skill set that you look for as a promoter, as a fighter yourself?
It's important that a fighter has heart, and determined, and also conditioning.
That's a big statement right there.
I don't want to offend anybody, but your work shows in the ring, and if you don't look conditioned in the ring, then you didn't take the fight serious, and now you got the show looks the way it looks because it was relying on you to bring the fans excitement. It was relying on them to not. You don't have to win the fight. You have to win the fans. You know what I mean? You have to gain the experience, and then it doesn't matter. The loss is a lesson. So I like to see that, and if I see that this fighter really fought to the end, maybe made some mistakes that he can go back and work on, great. But I like the heart, and if they're taking it serious, then they're conditioned.
So we got a Facebook question from
Okay.
Ronald. He's
Ronald Fisher.
Yeah, Ronald Fisher. He said, "Do you think you'll ever do anything in conjunction with USA Boxing, or would you rather just stay independent?"
Man, I hope that I don't know who's watching right now, but this is gonna be recorded, right?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
going everywhere.
I think we recorded on a
So-
laser disc.
so-
those whole things.
So here's the thing: there's been a big rivalry with USA Boxing and me. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes leading up until these shows. All right, and it's not just a walk in the park.
Sure.
You just So USA Boxing is a great organization. It is. I think the Florida Boxing, USA Boxing, they got a lot of stuff to work on before they can consider themselves on the elite. They have a lot to work on, but there's a lot of great fighters out here. There's a lot of talent out here. They pay tons and tons and tons of money, and then they get robbed on fights. And I could care less what USA thinks about how I feel about it, but they're wrong about the things they do. They try to, sabotage these other shows, but I have a question, and Pete White's we've had hundreds of conversations about it. What's messed up is that USA Boxing allows us to be amateur promoters. It allows these organizations to open up a sanctioning body, pay to open up a sanctioning body through the Florida State Boxing Commission, and then USA Boxing stops people from fighting on the shows. They tell them if you fight on any other organization, you will not fight on a USA Boxing show. Why?
How do they have that control?
Because they have a control of their own organization.
yeah.
You can fight for whoever you want, wherever you want, whenever. But the thing is that you want USA Boxing because there's a lot of goals, there's a lot of things out there that you can go with. But either way, would I ever work with USA Boxing? I've tried, and I'm still, the door is still open. I don't want to say like I'm the big shot, work with them. I would love for us to come together and work something out, because now these fighters don't have to be so scared or anything like that. They're not going to get suspended anyway. But I just don't, there's no need for it, But would I ever do anything with them? Yeah, of course, it'd be smart to do that.
Ronald, great question. That was good.
I'm about to say, I just learned.
Ronald, you mentioned it, and I seen it on Locked In.
Yep.
All right,
He's
they
begging
didn't.
for something.
But let me say this:
Okay.
I don't know if you guys I read it and I was like, man, you know, they overlooked it, but yeah, he wants to fight, you know, Chris Mixon again.
Mighty Mixon.
But
That's true.
but you know, Chris Mixon, he's got some work that he's got to get done in front of him right now. So once that's out of the way, I don't see why he wouldn't. P. White don't ever back down from anything. So
That's
They
what I
never
love
back
about
down
Coach
from a
Pete.
challenge.
and Ronald Fisher, you know, he got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
That's why he's on Undisputed 4.
I think that's
Absolutely.
one thing I give every single fighter that steps in there
Yeah.
is respect. It's so easy to critique. We have the easy job. We talk about it, and we get to not get hit. But it's so easy
It's
to talk
not that
about it.
easy now.
But you know what I mean. But the fact that to take anyone that steps in there, the amount of courage, dedication,
Mhm.
hard work, and just heart is just incredible. And you already have my respect. So although we love Chris, he's been on Locked In,
Yeah.
we do respect every single fighter that's out there.
Oh, I absolutely respect Ronald Fisher. I
Yeah.
thought it was a really good fight.
Yeah.
Chris is a beast.
Stud.
He's a stud. He's on the rise. He does MMA and boxing. He has a April 7th fight on Combat Night, Mitchell Chabali's show. So, you know, I'm hoping Chris does well, and I hope Chris is healthy and maybe can get on the May 19th card as well, and that'd be great. Maybe him versus Ronald again. But we're excited.
Chris is gonna do great. He's one.
Yeah.
He's one kid you don't want to miss fight.
Yeah.
You know, he's fought for Undisputed, and then again, even if you didn't know Chris and you didn't know his name, you didn't know nothing of him, and they say he's from Pete White's boxing, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
so
that guy's legit.
Who we're gonna find?
And he
you know,
pops.
Same thing with, you know, all these other gyms out there, and I want to shout them out real quick.
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
you guys got me on the spot right now, so I don't want to forget.
Shout anybody you want.
Kissimmee Boxing Gym, you know, they are family to me. I thank them for, you know, always being supportive of the shows and also working with me on my second pro fight. Dorian, me and him are friends. He's got a great gym. He always brings his fighters, loves his fighters, always tries to bring them up. You know, I want to thank Impact. They're great supporters, great helpers. They're
They had
actually
great fighters out of that gym.
oh man, and they're actually working on the show as well that I'm supporting.
Very cool. Very cool.
I think, you know, they're gonna do good with it.
Awesome.
You know, and it's just Gym Rat Boxing. Todd, you know, he was a coach of mine at one time. He's always been a supporter.
Okay.
I want to shout out Alan Knight.
Night.
Yeah, he's always.
He still owes me a T-shirt.
I was about to say the same thing. I'll fight night. No, I'm playing.
Alan, we need a large T-shirt over
Yeah.
here, man. We'll get you a locked-in shirt.
I don't mean to interrupt you. If there's more, please go ahead. I just definitely have.
No, you know,
question for
I'll
you.
go along the way, but I you know, all of them have been supporters of the show. You know, Coach Don Roberts, you know, and you know, all those guys have been a great supporter. You know, Team Fighting Edge, great supporters as well. So, I'm ready to get everybody back together and throw the show.
We got a couple questions.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Mhm.
Pete White said, "My boys, of course."
Coach.
So he's watching, and Shamara Woods is watching.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she said
A
she
champ.
appreciates your venue. It's great, and thank you for allowing them to have a place to shine. It's an amazing experience. And then she also says it would be great to see an amateur/pro boxing event with Undisputed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You almost said something there. Okay.
Shamara, I'm gonna shout her out. She fought over the weekend,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Hell of a fighter.
I
That's
could just say this: you got Pacquiao went through it. You know, a lot of good fighters. Triple G went through it with Canelo. It was a bad decision, you know, on what happened. I watched the fight, and I thought she did enough to win. And you know, she has the skills.
Absolutely.
She's going places.
You learn more from your losses than you do your wins.
Shamara, what's up? Battle of Champions 4.
Yep.
You have something, or
I was just going to say about her personally, like, remember she got the win versus Victoria on the first time they
Right.
fought, and
Right.
some people thought it was a close draw. It does happen, especially in the boxing game, that, you know, if you have 2, 3, 4 close fights, you might get unlucky and not get the W when you probably should get the W. I think she's a beast. Like, I think she's a up-and-comer professional champion. I have nothing but great things to say about Miss Woods. Big up to her. She's a great person, too. We met her, hung out. Great family person, too. We always see pictures with her and her husband and the kid and everything. That's awesome. So big ups to her. Can't wait to see her on May 19th, Battle of Champions. That's going to be great.
We talked about Clash of the Titans. By the way, I agree with everything you just said, by the way.
Okay.
We talked about Clash of the Titans. We mentioned Chris. We have Ronaldo. We have a bunch of people. Now, that venue was absolutely terrific. That fight card.
Orlando
with
Live?
Mitchell, Combat Night, obviously Undisputed. It was tremendous.
Yeah.
What do you take away, both positive or even negative? Of course, as a promoter, you're always learning to grow. We're our biggest critics, we always say. What do you take away from that event, and what are you using or utilizing to move forward for your next event? These are all tough questions.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
should have known. You're
That's
going
good.
to locked in. These
I
are
like
tough
it though.
questions.
You know, I
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
good.
Thank you. A little pat on the back for myself over here.
I don't, you know, coming up in the next couple of days and even the next week or so, I have a strategy of what I want to do.
Mhm.
A lot of the stuff that I'll say now, I'll end up, putting it all out there before it's actually finalized. So, I'll just stick with the fact that Undisputed Fight Night is it's a special night for everybody, for the people coming out to watch the shows, for the fighters that get experience, and they're also getting. I always look at it like when I was fighting in USA Boxing, I was like, dang, I see these fighters out there on TV and and the lights and the commercials and the this and the that, and that's fun, Fighters are gaining experience through USA Boxing skill-wise, but when they fight on Undisputed Fight Night, they're also they're gaining the experience of what it feels like to be a level higher.
The total package.
Right?
Are you
to
looking
be
at my notes? that was my
Oh,
follow-up.
no.
That's what I think Undisputed is unique, is that you're applying all these different traits of what it's like on the big stage. That's
Right.
what you told me, and that's what we noticed being
Yeah.
there ringside is
Yeah.
you're literally having them go through all these different experiences to prepare them for their future and their career.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's unique. That's what we say a great coach develops their players. I think now the saying is that's what a great promoter does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got one of the best promoters in the business right here sitting next to us.
Now this is where I'm tearing up.
Oh man! Also, shout out to UFC Gym. Always
Winter Springs.
proud sponsors. Of Undisputed. Mike Sawyer, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy. We talked boxing UFC with Mike on the podcast a couple podcasts
Yeah,
back.
he was awesome.
He was great. He knows his stuff, and it's one of those things. You can talk to him for an hour, and it feels like 5 minutes. He's one of those guys.
We had
that
to
was
cut
great.
it. Like, okay, look, we got to get other people on.
we got to get Sean Mason on. We got to get everyone on. So it was cool.
Speaking of Sean Mason, so he obviously fought
That kid's dynamite.
the Psycho, right? Talent, is that the word you use for that? Because he was unbelievably
Uber
talented.
Yep.
So
Is he fighting? Is it confirmed, locked in?
I have to reach out to his coach, but I reached out to UFC Gym and let them know that we have this show going on, so they can send some fighters our way on who's willing to compete on it. Sean Mason, definitely, I would love to put him back on the show if they're up for it. If they've the guy's always in the gym, so if I'm sure he'll be in shape. So if he wants to go, I'll put him on for a title fight. I said it here. If Sean Mason deserves it, he's got a lot of skills, a lot of talent.
More breaking news.
I'll put him on there.
Awesome. You got
So
another
you
Facebook question?
Yeah, well, you
Okay.
got Kasumi, the boxing gym you were talking about.
Okay.
Vincent Perez is on here.
Yeah.
He said, "When are you gonna get?" Hey, champ, we've
Oh.
started. When are we gonna start training
Vicente.
for your next pro?
That's Vicente, right?
Yeah, he said that. He said, when are they gonna help you?" I got mumble mouth right now.
it's not easy being on the mic.
I didn't know what he said.
Hey, champ, when are you gonna start training for your next pro fight? They wanna.
Vicente-
Andy Dad said, "What's up?" That's my son.
Oh, yeah.
Pops.
My,
Hey.
That's my son.
to say something to that is to Vicente, I want to come back, and I got to get these things out the way. And when I find my way back in there, Vicente is a great coach. He was there, with all the fighters, and he trained the pros. He's still at Kissimmee Boxing Gym, but you know, I thank him for his support, because even right now you see him, you know, his concern for me coming back. But Vicente, I'm not saying I'm not coming back. I'm coming back. I just don't want to say when, because I want to be sure before I say anything first.
Can we have the pleasure of calling your fight? It'll be a little biased commentary, but that's okay. It'll be just a little bit.
Yeah, you guys
All right,
can.
This is probably the most breaking news we've ever had on the show here. All right, so I know everybody's curious. Is there any fights you're allowed? Well, of course, you decide what's allowed and what's not allowed. You're the promoter. But are you feeling free to announce any fights that are confirmed, that are locked in on the fight card, or is that kind of on hush right now?
There are a few fights that are already put in place. But there's been some fights that came up, and there's another fight coming up this weekend. And depending on the outcomes of those fights, it just depends on what happens in the fight. If there's an injury, then that fight is off. So I don't want to just jump the gun and say that. So I'll have to wait that one out. But I could tell you right now that, you know, we got Corey Marksman, you know, from Elite. He's on there. And he brings all the fighters that he can bring. My dad, you know, shout out to my father, and he's going to put some of his guys on the card as well. You know, it's good. And I have conversations with my pops and let him know, like, he's been involved just as long as most of the people out here. You know, we came out here and started in the gym. He brought me into Wise Guys Boxing. Some people don't even know that gym ever existed here in Orlando. Wise Guys Boxing, you know, we went in there, and Todd from Gym Rat was a trainer there, so we could do some history on that. Gym Rat, downtown Orlando. Shout out to Todd. There was a lot of gyms and stuff that we went through. There was a lot of trainers, a lot of fighters that came and left and fought, retired. So it's always good to have my father still being a part of it, you know, and now he sees me doing the promotions. Like, my son's promoting the fight, and I got my fighter fighting on the card. And back in the day, we were just two guys walking in the gym.
He said he wants your autograph.
That's what he said?
By the way, your pops was on Locked In. Very knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah?
That's somebody you could have on for hours on the podcast.
Yeah.
He even came up to us during the fight and just gave us background, gave us details. He's just a boxing guru.
Yeah,
If you want a short conversation,
that's not your guy.
don't talk boxing.
Like
Don't talk boxing, because you'll be there for a while. We'll be in there.
He watched like the first 15, 20 seconds of the fight, and he like comes up behind us. He goes, "I bet you in the second round he's going to hit him with like a body shot." I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Second round comes
He's
body
Mickey
shot.
from Rocky.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He's definitely uber knowledgeable about boxing.
Yeah.
One thing we were talking about, you were just saying, hey, there's a show next week. There's a show, you know, Mitchell's show is MMA, but that's April 7th.
Yeah, I want to say that too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mitchell, Chamali. I know I talked to some people that when the conversation comes up with Mitchell, and you know, not about him, but like when it comes up like combat night and all that, it's like,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. I learned a lot from him. He respected what I know, and you know, it was obviously, if we didn't work good together, you wouldn't have seen the show turn out the way it did. So shout out to him, and I could only imagine what April 7th is gonna look like. I'm gonna be there. I know a lot of people that are gonna be there.
Yeah.
So shout out to Combat Night.
That's awesome. Very cool. Hopefully, maybe in the future. I thought the Clash of the Titans was awesome. I thought it was a great, successful show. We are just crossing our fingers. We hope there is a Clash of the Titans 2 somewhere on the horizon. Hopefully, that can work its way out. Yes, sir. What's up, Shawnee?
I was just gonna say, last week Mitchell was on the chat, and he was saying that promoting was easier than fighting. Do you feel the same way, or do you think what do you think is the hardest part about boxing? Fighting, promoting, or training?
Coaching. Yeah, because that's one of our questions. We had Pete in here, and Mitchell was going to be on here. He had a bad turkey sandwich, so he didn't make it out. True story. Is it harder to promote? You think it's harder to coach, or do you think it's harder to be the fighter?
By the way, Mitchell, I'm not buying it.
I want to
so
say
we're gonna have to meet in the ring sometime.
I want to say this. With the fight, being a fighter there's a lot on the fighter. You know, a lot on the fighter, and as a promoter, you just have to do the right thing. You know, be right by the fighters. Make sure that you invest what you can into these shows and the fighters, and you'll have a great show, regardless to who wins or who loses. Plus, you know, it's fun. Fighting is fun, but there's a lot of stuff that comes from it. You know, where dieting. You know, the actual training, and then, you know, sometimes there's things that go wrong in the camp. Sometimes you guys wake up on the wrong side of the bed and everybody's not on the same page. You have, you know, I have a family at home, so you know, when you look at that, you got to attend to them, and you want to train and you want to do all this stuff. So to me, promoting is easier than fighting.
Wow.
Coaching, I owned the gym before, and I taught classes and all that. You know, it's cool, but I wouldn't put it up there with the fighter promoter thing. You know, the coaches are special in their own way. They do their own thing.
That's awesome.
Speaking of Mr. Chamale, did I say that right?
Oh, don't tell me he wants to
Chamale?
fight me.
Is
I was
he
just
watching?
bluffing.
He said,
I was just
Has he on
bluffing.
the best boxing promoter in the biz.
My man,
Right here.
my man.
Definitely, man.
Yeah,
Mitchell could beat you
cool,
with his
man.
beard.
Yeah, I'm not.
man.
Hey, Mitchell, you'll beat me. It was just a bluff. I believe you 100%. Turkey is a little suspect sometimes. But
That's a lot of backpedaling
Real quick.
as soon as you tuned in, I'm like, okay, all right.
I'm not backpedaling. I'll take Michael Davis in the cage right now. I ain't afraid. I'm right here, Mike.
That is a
I
lie.
challenged
I'm
him.
crying for you.
Can we text him on that?
No.
No. He's
You
not
know-
watching.
you
We're
know,
not
let
even on anywhere. He won't. Oh, he won't see this.
He's watching anime right now. So we're good.
Let me say, I'm not real heavy on the social media. You know, when the promoting comes about, I always do that. And, but I'll say this: that when I was putting together with Clash of the Titans,
Yeah.
on the boxing side of it, I had a lot of fighters that they were. I told them, put it out there, put that you're fighting, go out there and say what you're doing. Let them, you know, you don't have to post your sparring videos, you don't have to do none of that. Just go out there and show them that you're doing this. You know, go for your runs. You know, post something up. Maybe say something that'll motivate your partner that's watching you on Facebook, especially with so much negativity on the Facebook. But say something good, you know, and push yourself out. And a couple fighters started taking that, and they started doing it.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from the MMA side, you know, how when they come to watch these fights, like they're coming.
It's
you know what I
pumped.
mean?
It's
and
like a party atmosphere.
oh yeah, and they're fans.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes in boxing, you know, if you lose or if it's too far of a drive, you know, sometimes that happens. But you know, I gotta give a lot of respect to those fans.
Yeah.
Where is the guilt, by the way, just for in case people don't know?
Sure.
Uh,
Good question.
Guilt it's in Orlando, so 740 Bennett Road. It's right off East Colonial. I mean, most of the Orlando gyms, they're right there. They're right in that same area.
So the drive is pretty convenient for most.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's where all the boxing gyms are at, right?
Okay.
That's where all the, you know, the gyms that have been involved with the promotions.
Tickets will be available through ticketriver.com when that gets going. Of course, all the gyms and all the fighters will have tickets as well to get it. So, guys, buy tickets, get tickets to Battle of the Champions May 19th.
The tickets will be going on sale next week.
There we go.
The tickets will go on sale next week. I'll post that on the page, and now with, you know, the promotion will start picking up for the next 7 weeks.
You mentioned you weren't a huge fan of like social media, right?
Mhm.
As far as you don't go on it as often, maybe is that what you're trying to imply?
I'm
How-
always on it.
You are.
Yeah, I'm
You're just not
always
fond
on
of
it.
it?
I'm always on it because I don't follow people to know what they're doing every day.
What
I
they're
follow
eating.
it. I follow it to
I must
know.
fit.
I follow it to know what. I follow it to learn something. You know, I'm a big fan of motivation quotes. I'm a big fan of watching, you know, these fighters be successful or fights coming back. I love watching all the fights that are on social media. Like they show the clips and classic fights. Like I'm heavy on all that. You know what I mean? So when I say that I'm not really in it, is because everybody has to have their own personal time.
Oh, of course.
And that's what I do it. But when I'm having fun and I'm out there, it's fight time.
The reason why I bring that up is because really with you and working with obviously Team Undisputed, Dave and I really got to see how lucky we were to be a part of such a terrific event. But just like the behind the scenes stuff, the interviews we did with Shamara, with Night, it was just terrific. And
the
it almost
podcast and the videos. Let's get it the radio station.
Yeah, and if that's that's what I mean with social media. That got me so much more excited for the fight. So I was going to ask you, how much does social media mean when you're a promoter? Because obviously it's an essential part of just branding and throwing all your tickets out there. It's just I think it's played such a pivotal role in all of sports.
It means a lot. I could speak for myself on this one. It means a lot. The social media means a lot to me because it's a chance for me to achieve one of my biggest goals, and that's to make sure that when these people walk into the venue to see these fights, they know who's fighting and they never met them before, and that's when I know that I did my job.
That's a great point.
I want you to come see this person that you never met before. Come watch them fight. And as an amateur fighters, it's hard to do that. You know, the pros is a whole different league. But what I'm saying with the amateurs is they come out, they want to, they want to be known.
That connection.
They want to be known. They want to be known.
That fan base too.
Yeah.
They want the fan base. And I'm going to tell you something, if there'll be more champions to come out of the amateurs if this is what they're experiencing. Sometimes they go and they fight in the gym. You wouldn't tell a sparring match from a gymnasium or something like that. But you got to make sure that you got to invest into the fighters. No matter how you look at it, amateurs, whatever, you got to invest into the fighters. And there's promoters out there that invest into fighters, and those fighters stick around, stay motivated, and they do what they do. But that's just what it is. Awesome. I want them to be known. From the videos to pictures to face-offs, all this stuff. I try to make a movie out of it. And these fighters, when they come out here, and even the people, they feel like they're on the set.
So obviously that's something that's going to be implemented for Undisputed, this next up-and-coming fight card, May 19th.
I want to switch things up always. There's always got to be a switch. So for Undisputed Battle of Champions, I already have that. I wouldn't have said nothing if I didn't have everything laid out already. But now it's just going to take its time to start pushing it out leading up to the fight. Yeah.
Awesome. Dave, you got anything else?
Mitchell said if you would have told him, he would have rode out here with you.
Wow.
Oh, man.
We'll set it up.
Maybe
I'll make the trip on the second one. Let them know.
Yeah, maybe the next Clash of the Titans, we can get them both out
here. Text us.
He also said the fighters have to be number one.
Yes.
And I think you really have to, coming from the outside perspective, I'm a huge football guy. I coached football for many years. But that was my first live event, seeing boxing and seeing someone I know push that out. He started pushing it out. And then I went there and I saw 3 or 4 of my buddies. I'm like, I didn't know you were into boxing. They're like, oh, yeah. I mean, once they start building that fan base, it's sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. Local support is everything, especially when you talk about amateur fighters when they're trying to build a brand and they're trying to build that following. If you have everybody locked in together, see what I did there? It just builds your audience, builds your brand, and it makes that event so much more exciting because everyone's emotionally attached to the event, and now they're entertained with the event. So
and
it's like
that's why, and what Mitchell was saying is these fighters, they have to be. It's about them. Without the fighters, you got no show. So,
fact.
But he's right about that. They need that. They need to be recognized for the hard work that they do because it's not easy to, if you're not a fighter or a trainer or anything like that, and then you probably wouldn't know, but it takes a lot because boxing takes up so much of your time and your day and so much sacrifice where you might be better off with 40 hours a week and getting a job, but now you got to work a part-time or now you got to try to find sponsors and you got to try to do all this. Someone said it on social media the other day, and I thought it was dumb that they said this, but when you're out there and you're asking for sponsors, nobody's begging and they're following a dream. You know what I'm saying? They're following a dream. They're trying to go after something, and you don't have to give them anything. They're putting it out there for the ones that care about what they're doing.
Certainly.
So don't say those things because these fighters are not asking for money on a street corner. They're not doing that. They're doing something. They're off the street. They're trying to fight. They're trying to achieve goals. They might have had some battles that give them their props. And if you give them $10, it's enough. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
problem
Give
with
them
social
something.
media. That's the problem right there is people can hide behind a screen and say anything they want.
Right.
And the part of sponsors is pitching in to the ultimate goals to make it. Whatever your goal is, our goal is to make it as big as we can and just get everybody we can, support everybody we can, and just enjoy and talk sports for a living. That's our
Yeah.
goal.
That's why we're so grateful for our sponsors, like
Yeah.
Pep-Boys, Richie from Pep-Boys, Wicked Cutz,
Fit
Fit
Meals.
Meals, Dimitri from Fit Meals. We thank you guys so much.
Working
We
with
couldn't do it without
Undisputed.
you.
It's just that all of that ties into it. So
Yeah,
100%
big check
agree
coming
on that
from
part.
Anthony soon.
But,
I wanna shout out a friend of mine. You know, congratulations. He just opened up a gym, Higher Power Boxing Academy. I wanna
Nice.
shout him out and it's right there and not too far from Guilt. There's a story behind that because I first met him and he signed up his kids to my gym.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, shout out to him. They got a lot of good fighters over there, and I'm sure you're going to be seeing them on the show.
Okay.
That's awesome. Wow, look at that. Great minds think alike, huh? Do you have anything you want to shout out in particular? Of course, besides the event, where can people find you if they want to contact you to get on the fight card?
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, just, Anthony Arvelo Jr., just reach out to me directly. Secret Service stuff. Just reach out to me on Facebook.
Don't forget the junior.
If you don't have my number. Junior, yeah. You hit up my dad, he'd be like, what? What you mean? But just reach out to me on Anthony Arvelo Jr. or you can go to Undisputed Fight Night on Facebook or Undisputed Promotions on Instagram.
Cool. You got anything else?
No, I think we're killed. I think it's been really good. We're getting a lot of good responses, and yeah.
We can't see him, or we can see him after this, though, right?
Yeah, and don't forget you're locked in because we're about to throw out a couple things.
Always locked in.
I like
Always
it.
locked in. That's the thing. I shout out you guys. You guys look professional at Clash of the Titans.
Thank you, sir.
You guys did a great job, and
I really
next
appreciate it.
next show's coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first of many.
Yes, sir.
You already know.
First of many.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast, tuning in, or if you're listening to it now, make sure you hit that download and subscribe button. We're on Apple Podcast, anywhere you can find a podcast. iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're on 104.7 now in the mornings.
Stitcher Radio.
YouTube,
YouTube.
and our
Facebook,
social. Yeah, tell them our
Instagram.
social medias. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Do me a
Instagram
favor,
is
please.
locked
help me out.
_INN. The Facebook page, guys, is Locked In Podcast. Also, join the community. Sean loves when I say that.
I would have forgotten that, so I'm glad I handed you
course,
the baton.
we have
there.
a phone number, and you guys can call us and text us later. We'll give you that. We got the T-shirts. Buy a T. That helps out, too. Go to Wicked Cutz, Pep-Boys, get Fit Meals. Call Dimitri, 844-FIT-4-YOU. Definitely come out May 19th. We're selling out Guilt, guys. We're selling
Undisputed
out.
Fight Night 4 Battle of Champions.
We're
and you
selling
already
it out.
know.
So everyone come out to that.
We got some good things. We switching it up a little bit, so it's gonna be fun. I want everybody to get out there. It's always a good night to be out, enjoy a night of fights, good music, good people, a family crowd. What better way to spend your Saturday night?
If the music gets right, I might dance. I'm
Oh,
gonna
no.
So
call
don't play
a fight.
music.
I'll
Don't play
make sure
music.
you get me his playlist. Give me the
Don't
playlist. I'll
play
put it
the
on
music
there.
then.
You have to
All
have a playlist to dance?
Hey,
I'll put him on there. He'd be part of the performance on there.
That's fine.
I got him.
Uh-oh.
you guys have it locked in, or you want to?
Anything else? You guys?
All right, let's
Leave it to you pros.
go, Dave.
Okay, I'll start first. I feel like I.
You have the locked in tee, by the
oh.
way. Anthony has one, so next time you wear it,
We
you'll
did,
get
we
locked in
did.
first with
Definitely.
Mitchell. Then we'll set that up with Mitchell.
So who all has a locked in T-shirt tonight?
Ooh, we all do.
Everybody
except
but the
for-
person crying.
Is that why he's crying, though?
Yeah, that's actually why.
That's a nice tee right there.
I like it.
All right, my locked in is this. We kind of talked about him earlier in the show, Psycho Sean Mason. If or when he gets on this card, and we said that he's in the championship fight, he's pulling out a W. I think a great future for him. He's technical. He's so fast. He can stay in the pocket, outside the pocket. Sean Psycho Mason, future undisputed champion.
Wow.
That's the locked in,
That's
right?
my locked in.
I agree with that, too. No disrespect to us. I don't even know who the opponent is. If he has an opponent, whoever he faces, I have my money on Psycho.
I'll reach out to his coach and we'll get, hopefully get him on the card.
Okay, that sounds good.
I do apologize, Anthony. I know I'm close to you with this.
So
whole
now my
sniffle
locked
thing.
in thing.
Yeah.
All right, all
What you got,
right.
Ant? What you got?
I'm gonna say that Mayweather will not fight McGregor in an MMA fight.
Wow, that could be an hour-long debate with Dave and I. So you just opened up a kind of can of worms here.
I think he does. I really do.
Not
For $1 billion, if he
Listen.
was offered $1 billion contract, he doesn't do it? He's the money team before he's 15-0.
He doesn't need to.
Everybody needs $1 billion.
Oh yeah. He spends
The
money
way
like water.
he has a private plane for his luggage.
listen.
Mhm.
If
I meant for his legacy, not money.
I'm gonna tell
He
you,
doesn't
I'm gonna
need
tell
it.
you this. I say that because UFC is not gonna degrade themselves by. I don't think they would, but doing a stipulation MMA fight. That's not a real fight.
That I agree with.
I don't care about no stipulations and none of that. If there's one stipulation in the fight, it's not
I
an
agree with
MMA
that.
fight.
You don't think he has a true MMA fight if he did go in the cage?
No, there'll be some kind of there'll have to be something to
Like no
cater to
kicks or
Floyd.
no ground or something like that.
That's a great point.
That, you know, and you know when you know it wasn't true. That you knew that this wasn't gonna happen when Floyd said that he has ground game.
He said like a 7 out
And
of
I'm
10.
a Floyd
right?
Mayweather boxing fan.
Yeah,
Floyd
yeah.
Mayweather to the heart boxing fan.
One of the best ever.
I didn't say I was a great supporter in
Outside
his
of the
fight
ring.
with McGregor, but I was entertained by it, so I was satisfied. But
Yeah.
Are you going to think differently of
He's
me if
a
I told you
wrestler.
Connor was going to
been
win
boxing for all those years, and he's called himself a
I
wrestler.
know,
Never
he's got-
wrestled in his life.
Yeah.
that? He's like, oh, that's like a 7 out of 10. That's
There'll
just-
be a stipulation. All right, it'll be Mayweather McGregor in a cage, hands only. There'll
they
be
don't do
some.
that.
I'm telling you, with
I
MMA
think-
gloves or something. I'm telling you, he's not going to fight him in an
think
MMA
if the
fight.
fight happens, it's a true fight because it's $1 billion. If
Bare
it's
knuckle.
if it's any stipulations, I don't think it happens because, like you said, I don't think UFC would do that to their brand,
No, I
especially
agree.
Dana
If-
White.
When you follow boxing and you follow this fighter for so many years, this man will not work on anyone else's terms. You're not going to go to the UFC and start laying rules down.
Yeah, but
Dana
$1
White's not going to let
billion.
that happen.
I agree.
Because Dana White had to do what they made him do. They made that whole thing crazy for them.
Yeah.
Dana White was there. He's like, I can't wait till this thing is over because
Press
he had to
conferences were
follow the
ridiculous.
boxing way.
Yeah.
So what do you think? When Mayweather goes over there, they're going to be like, what's up, boy?
Well, but there's the difference. He's going over there. This isn't his sport.
He-
It's either okay. Look,
But
if you
he's
don't
the
like- you don't-
the way they sell it is he's the reason why whoever the other guy on the other side of the cage is going to he's going to make that kind of money, because if Floyd didn't go over there, they wouldn't make that kind of money, and that's what he uses on that. I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan, but I just think that keep his legacy and just leave it alone.
That's a great locked in.
Yeah.
And it's probably correct, to be honest. I don't think he goes, even though he says he's training with Tyron Woodley, he's getting his MMA license. I think it's just all smoke. I don't think anything's true. And if he goes in, I think he loses, like you said, he would lose to the worst MMA fighter. Just because one leg kick to the leg, one time he's taken down. If he boxes anyone, he wins.
I haven't listen. Boxing is boxing, MMA is MMA, but Floyd Mayweather walks around with 10 feet bodyguards. All right, I don't see MMA fighters walking around like that. Maybe because
he has the most money.
That's
No,
I see what
no,
you're saying.
man.
I see what you're saying. I see
No.
what you're saying.
John Jones don't need a bodyguard.
No, that's a great
He
point.
can
I
handle
didn't think
himself.
about that. Yeah,
You
I see your point.
You know what
Connor,
I mean?
Connor's got the mob after him. He just walks around normal. It's like
With no shirt on.
usually.
I just think that
I hear you.
just leave it. They got away with it with the boxing and MMA. Nobody got messed up. It was
Yeah.
whatever. Just leave it like that. That's
All
it.
right, I respect it.
Cool,
now,
cool.
my locked in, I
You're
don't think
locked
I'll
in,
be able to
Max?
follow up those two. I'll try my best. We obviously talked about Undisputed. We've talked everything Undisputed,
Yep.
even Clash of the Titans.
Yep.
Shout out to Combat Night, obviously. I think what you're doing with the fighters, setting them up to succeed in the future, rather than just focusing on the present, you're building them so they're prepared
Mhm.
for whatever comes at them. They're used to the big light. They're used to interviews. They're used to the whole process. I think the impact you're having on the fighters is the best impact you could have on anybody. Because I hear that from Coach Pete. And it's not necessarily like a prediction. It's more of a statement because Coach Pete says, like, what he likes the best is just having an impact and helping people.
Sure.
And I think that's what you're doing in your own way. Because you always help people in our own ways. We're trying to help people by acknowledging and just trying to bring to light their brand and talk about their brand and what they're doing. And I think what Undisputed is doing is very unique as far as creating a path for up-and-coming talent.
Mhm.
And that's my locked in
Yeah.
right there.
That
So I
sounds
think,
good.
and now also adding to that, I think this is going to be sold out terrific event. That's already locked in. I could say that all show. But the deeper meaning of my locked in would be that path that you're creating for the youth.
Yeah. Sold out, not sold out, whichever it is going to be a great night, because every time the fans walk out of the building and the fighters walk out, even fighters that didn't get the victory that night, everybody walks out with a good taste in their mouth and say, I had a great time. And that's what it's all about. They gain experience and have a good time.
That's awesome. You are absolutely phenomenal. You're definitely going to come back. It looks like we have you and Mitchell already set up to come together.
Yeah, we'll be up here.
There's room for one more in here. And anything else you want to throw out, Dave?
No, that was awesome, guys. Appreciate everyone watching, remarks, questions, all that. We'll definitely loop it, send it to everyone we know.
Mm-hmm.
And, Anthony, appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And like
Appreciate
always,
everybody.
guys, make sure you stay locked in. Pep-Boys.
Hey, this is Dave here. Guys, one of the most essential parts of having a great life is having safe transportation for you and especially for your family. So definitely go see our man, Richie, at Pep-Boys in Daytona Beach, Florida.
And this is Max. What I hate the most, Dave, is when you start up your car and it goes do 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 do, and you know it's going to be a long day. Well, if I know Pep-Boys has my back, it's going to be a great day. So no matter what happens, go to Pep-Boys for any issue, give you the best deal, and completely fix all your problems.
And tell them Locked In sent you.
What's up, guys? Max here. Let us introduce you to Wicked Cutz, the best quality haircut around. They have 2 locations, right, Dave?
Yeah, bud. They got one in South Daytona and also the second, the brand new one in Port Orange, Florida.
Now, here's the thing. In order to book an appointment, you can visit wickedcuts.com or download the Booksy app. And every Tuesday and Wednesday, if you mention Locked In, you get $5 off your fresh cut for both locations.
What? $5 off? That's amazing, guys. Check them out, lastly, at Facebook and Instagram at Wicked Cutz Barbershop. Do you want the best meals every day? Then get with Fit Meals. Call them at 844-FIT-4U.
Hey, guys. Max here. What I like about Fit Meals is this. It's fit for everybody. If you don't like certain foods, he takes it out. If you like certain foods, he adds that in. It's for everybody. If you're an athlete trying to gain muscle, if you're trying to lose weight, or you're just busy and you don't have the time to cook, Fit Meals is for you. Go to myfitmeals.com and start your plan today.
844-FIT-4U.
And we are back. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Anthony. He was outstanding. My gosh.
That was awesome, Max, guys. And, of course, May 19th, Undisputed Fight Night in Orlando. We will be in there. We will be calling the fights. We will be locked in.
Dave, we're going to be going at it this episode. I'm already. That's why I'm sitting
ready.
across, just in case things get heated. We have a list. Well, I have a list of a top 15.
Okay.
You have a list of top 20 most dominant athletes.
Yes.
And what inspired us to do this was
Yes.
ESPN came out with a list. It's the top 20 most dominant athletes in the past 20 years.
Yes.
Not the greatest athletes. They don't have to be Michael Jordan necessarily, like the best at their sport, but the most dominant. And now we came with our list.
And ESPN's was horrible.
Terrible.
Horrendous. Terrible. Crappy. Sucky.
Just
You get the
any
point.
bad word you could think of. That terrible. Awful. Times 1,000. So here, we came with our list. We hope you guys enjoy it. And we want you... We want your feedback. We're going to throw up a poll on our locked-in community, and we want to hear from you, whether you agree with Dave, agree with me, you have your own list that we completely didn't touch on, and we're going to throw it up on Instagram. All our social media is locked in with 2 N's, so make sure you guys check us out on social media.
The
And
Locked In community.
I already said it. Look at you zoning out over there, produce. No, I'm playing. Let's go. You ready?
I'm ready. You want me to start?
I'm hiding my list.
All right, I'm going to start. I'm going to go down 20 to 10.
Oh, you go. Okay, yeah, go.
And I'll throw a couple little, this is why, all
and
right?
then 10 on, we'll go back and forth and
Yeah.
alternate. Let's
Here
go.
we go,
Let's
here we go. I'm so excited.
I know. Let's go.
Number 20, most dominant athletes in the last 20 years. All right, number 20, Deontay Wilder.
That's 40-0.
40-0, heavyweight champion of the world, boxing. You ready under the 40? 39 knockouts. That's dominant.
Can I just...
Undefeated.
And I'm supposed to let you just go list off, but I already have to interrupt with one thing. I have 2 asterisks.
Okay.
That's how you say that word, right?
Asterisk.
Asterisk. Asterisk or asterisk?
Asterisk.
Okay, let's go.
Asterisks.
So one would be, who did he fight? And my second kind of blemish on his resume would be Anthony Joshua. I don't know if you have him on there, but a lot of people have him higher than Deontay Wilder.
And I thought about him. I
I'm
really
just saying.
did. It's a great call. I just thought at 40-0 with 39 knockouts.
That's impressive as
The
crap.
question is dominant. I think maybe Anthony's better.
But he's more dominant.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, cool. Number 19. And this, I think, will start some controversy. I'm ready.
All right.
Maybe not a lot of people think he's dominant. Number 19, Stephen Curry.
No argument.
One of the best shooter of all time. Maybe one of the best handlers of all time, passers of all time. He dominates, not by dunking and taking control of the game. He dominates by shooting threes and finesse and passing the ball to the open guy. And, guys, the Golden State Warriors have been dominant. The most wins ever, 73 wins in one season. They've won 2 NBA championships out of the last 3, made it to 3 straight finals, and they're one of the favorites to make it again this year. He has been dominant.
I'm not trying to interrupt
Unanimous
you every time,
MVP?
but
Two-time MVP.
I think he revolutionized the game of basketball.
Yes.
To create the three-point shot, to create that trend, James Harden, the Houston Rockets, the Cavaliers shoot a lot of threes. He changed the game. So no argument there. Keep going, sir.
Okay, cool. Number 19. Number 18. My wife is probably watching or listening to her. I love this woman. I love this person so much. Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Number 18. I know she had 2 losses at the end, but when she was at her peak, she dominated female MMA.
That's a nice butt.
My wife's a Ronda's.
Your wife's listening too.
Jeez.
Might go.
So I thought Ronda Rousey dominated. I think she won 6 in a row in the UFC, and how she did it. 30-second wins, a 19-second win, 12-second win over Sarah McMahon. She dominated women's MMA.
Okay.
So that's my number 18. Number 17, another person that people don't think is dominant, but Derek Jeter.
I love Derek Jeter.
One of my favorite baseball player of all time. My son's middle name is Derek. He dominated the AL East. He's got 5 World Series rings. He's dominated a 20-year span of New York baseball. There's something about being a point guard for the Lakers or being the quarterback for the Cowboys or a shortstop for the Yankees. And he is the best, I think, Yankee of all time. Dominated New York baseball. So Derek Jeter, number 17. All right. Sean doesn't agree with that one.
I agree with him. I don't agree with the statement of greatest Yankee or maybe even the most, I think he was the biggest face, but I think probably one of the biggest contributions to the team in that same period was Mariano Rivera.
He's on the list.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right, number 16. I'm on the baseball run. Baseball starts in a couple days, guys. I cannot wait. I'm interrupting it. I'm 33 years old. This is the first time in my entire life I bought the baseball package this year, Sean. I'm that excited for Yankee baseball. Aaron Judge, Stanton, I am so pumped. I spent my hard-earned dollars on the Yankee package.
That was me a couple years ago, and then 2 days before opening day, the Braves traded Kremble, and I haven't watched baseball since.
Okay, so back to the list. Number 16, Albert Pujols. One of the most dominating baseball players for the last 20 years. 4-time MVP. I think he's won the World Series once with the Cardinals. One of the best hitters in the game. And I do believe he's never been on steroids, too. That's another part of my list that I'm kind of with him on. Not a PED user. So I have number 16, Albert Pujols. You like that one, Max?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 15th, and I'm rolling through, guys. Number 15th, true to my heart, Conor McGregor. To me, the most fun I've ever watched MMA was right here with Cuzzo Max. We're watching Conor McGregor knock out Jose Aldo in 6 seconds. We watched it with 15 people. 13 people were pissed. Me and Max were jumping on the floor, diving. One of the greatest sports moments of my life. And we talk about dominant, guys. He didn't dominate one weight class. He dominated 2 weight classes at one time. The only UFC fighter to have 2 belts at one time. If that isn't dominant, I don't know what is. Number 14, Peyton Manning.
Nice.
One of the most dominant. To me, he's the 3rd best quarterback ever. The blemish on his and why he might not be higher on my list is he's not the greatest playoff quarterback. And one reason is because he won against Brady a lot. And he will be on the list later on. But during the regular season, there wasn't any quarterback more dominant than him. The Colts made the playoffs for 12 straight years. Then Denver wasn't a really great, successful team. Went to Denver. They went to 3 straight playoffs, 2 Super Bowls out of the 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean?
You go influential. Blah, 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 blah. He was also really good at marketing.
Very
all the
true.
ads that he did, I think every single one that he's ever been in has been
Terrific.
amazing.
Yeah.
He hosted Saturday Night Live.
Very true.
He's so intelligent as a person. People
Yeah.
see him as a football player, but my gosh, he's such a great mind.
To this day, probably one of my favorite SNL skits is when
Yeah.
he's playing
The football.
the football with the kids in the yard, and he's like pegging the kids and coaching about like they're actual NFL players. He's amazing. You know, he went cut that meat. Those.
All right, let's go, Dave.
Omaha. All right. Number 13, Kobe Bean Bryant. And everyone thinks I'm a Kobe Bryant hater because I think Tim Duncan was more successful and a better NBA player. But, guys, I have him as the 13th most dominant player in the last 20 years. 5 championships with the Lakers. 3 of them I think he was Robin to Shaq's Batman. But he was a big part of the title. 5 championships, a Laker, 81 points against Toronto.
Yeah.
60 points in his final game against Utah. He one of the most dominant scorers in the history of basketball. Kobe Bryant, number 13th. Number 12, this was kind of for Shawnee. Jimmy Johnson.
Oh yeah,
5-time NASCAR champion.
7-time.
7-time.
Even better.
Google image does not work.
Google search.
5 in a row.
Okay, there it is. It was 5 in a row.
Yep. It was only 3 in a row was the record. It was 2 other drivers did it. He did 5 in a row.
That's what
and
it was.
he is 7 total, tied with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr.
To me, the greatest driver of our generation, 7-time champion, 5 in a row. When you can dominate any sport, polo, cornhole, Scrabble, 5 years in a row champion, you're dominant. Jimmy Johnson at number 12. My last one before I hand the page over to Max. 20 guys, Deontay Wilder. 19, Steph Curry. 18, Ronda Rousey. 17, Derek Jeter. 16, Pujols. 15, Conor McGregor. 14, Peyton Manning. 13, Kobe Bryant. 12, Jimmy Johnson. Number 11, before I get in my top 10, I love him. I wanted to get him in my top 10 so bad. I love this guy. Tim Duncan. One of the most underestimated, silent killer in the game of basketball. Dominated rebounds, dominated blocks, dominated defense. The San Antonio Spurs, one of the greatest dynasties of the last 20 years. A 5-time champion, 3-time NBA MVP, 3-time NBA Finals MVP. Tim Duncan, my number 11th most dominant player of the last 20 years. Is that a clap?
Yeah.
Did you-
I
that
clapped with
list
my
was
chest
good.
because I have the mic in my hand.
That list was good, right?
It was a solid list. Now, for people listening, I have 15. Now,
Okay.
20, I would have thrown Kobe Bryant in there. These
Okay.
are notable mentions. I would have thrown Derek Jeter in there.
Okay,
I
thank
would have
you.
thrown Timmy Duncan in there.
Okay.
Of course, Sean's NASCAR people, which would be in that list.
Can you name
He said
3
Jimmy
drivers?
Johnson.
Can you name 3 drivers?
I don't like NASCAR. I don't. It's just not in me.
That's all right. No,
there's
I had
there's
no
Casey
clue.
Kane.
I have no
There's a
clue who
Bush.
number 20 was. I'm
Kurt
like,
Bush.
I'm like,
There's a Bubba in there. I'm sure there's a Jimmy in there.
Bubba Wallace.
There's an Albert in there.
Bubba Wallace is currently the only African American driver in the Cups. First one to race up
There's
there
a
in a long
Ricky
time.
Bobby in there.
That's a movie.
That's a movie there, bud.
Anyway,
The
so
first Elias.
I'm going to start with 15 because I
Okay.
thought, like you said, I had 20 in my mind, but 15 to me, I just wanted to make it as hard as possible on myself. So it's the elite of the elite.
I respect it.
And for 15, did you mention Barry Bonds on your list, or is he? I'm sorry if he's further in your list. Even like he's not even on your list. I'm not trying to spoil
Didn't
it.
make my top 20.
Is it because of the whole steroid?
Absolutely. I'm 100% sure he took steroids. And I can't say that some people could be like, maybe, maybe not. I'm 100% sure he did. And you ready for this one? You know he didn't win 1 World Series
But his records and what he did was dominant.
on steroids.
You think he was the entire time?
I hated him when he was.
I'm not
when
saying
he
I
was
like the
Giants,
guy.
dude.
I'm just
I
saying
hate
he
him
was
when he was-
extremely
Well, I have
dominant.
nothing about liking, but no, he did. Hey, he didn't make my list.
Don't
I
look at
thought
my list
about
here.
it.
Don't look at my list. I see you beeping a little bit. Okay, well,
So you had number 15, Barry Bonds?
I think yeah.
Okay.
But I think that could easily, like, that's my worst argument, this entire list. Like, if you were to say, just because how dominant he was, but that steroid is, that's big time. I would even say if you argued Kobe over him, I'd be like, that's tough. I'd probably lean towards Kobe too, but I have to serve him justice because of how dominant he was. But let's go
Okay.
right into 14. I have Ronda Rousey as well. I think what she
Awesome. Good
did
call.
for MMA is what Royce Gracie did for the MMA as well for UFC. For men's Ultimate Fighting, she did that for women's Ultimate Fighting.
Great pick. Max.
She is just, the way she did it, she had people at Ale House tuned in to watch Ronda Rousey every night. We'd go to Ale House and watch her. She was absolutely phenomenal. It sucks she ended her career the way she did, but it doesn't take away from her dominance like you said. Number 13 is going to get some blowback from me. I know that. John Jones. John Jones is arguably, the greatest MMA fighter within the octagon. Never to be beaten by another man in the octagon. Beat a who's list.
But he beats a pregnant woman.
I was just gonna say.
You have Barry Bonds and John Jones on your list? What the hell is going on here?
Kobe Bryant debatably raped someone. So so you can't say all athletes are great people. That's
true.
not my thing. He was dominant in the UFC. They threw Daniel Cormier at him. They threw Shogun, Rampage, Lyoto Machida, a Hall of Famers list in the most stacked division at the time. He ran through and finished pretty much all of them. Besides the war that he had with Alexander Gustafsson, it was an absolute war, heart of hearts, and he won. So as far
I
as
agree.
a dominant UFC fighter, I do not know anybody more dominant than he is.
In the cage, there isn't.
Yeah, he still has
Agree.
not lost.
Agree.
What he loses is outside of the octagon, but we're not basing that. Next, Roger Federer.
Oh,
I
good
have
one.
to put him on number 12.
Good one, yeah.
Number 11, this was hard for me to not put him in the top 10. It's
Oh.
Conor McGregor.
Wow.
What he did for the UFC.
We're on the same page
Yeah,
then. I had him at 15. Okay.
Yeah, what he did for the UFC is more than what anybody's done for the UFC. We have
Totally agree.
we have Ben Simmons tagging Conor McGregor because he did the McGregor walk. It's like what he does revolutionized MMA and brought it to light.
Yeah.
And to do that for a sport is incredible.
The Vince McMahon walk.
Okay, but
God
people are
bless
tagging
America, Sean.
People are tagging Conor.
No
Like,
chance.
Mark Gasol did it. It's just
No
what he
chance
did.
in hell.
What he did for
I know, I'm
MMA.
just-
Yeah. And then to add to that, two-weight world champion, never been done. It's just outstanding. And he still can come back, and he put on the greatest first ever fight with MMA and boxing coming together with the two biggest stars.
Great
Conor
call.
McGregor
Love it. Dominant.
breaks my heart that he's not the top 10.
Me too. Like I had him at 15. He lost to Diaz. He did revenge that win. I could even have him higher, but yeah, I have him on 15.
All right.
You have him at 11.
Let's go.
Top
Number
10, guys. We're going to alternate, guys. I did 20 through 11. Max just did 15 through 11. We're going to go 10, 10,
You
9,
can go first.
9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6. Okay.
Go.
My number 10. I would have him higher, but he is my one, I think, steroidy guy. My guy I don't like.
Oh, damn.
But one of the most dominated players of all time. My number 10 is Tiger Woods.
Nice.
On the course, you can't. Best golfer, I think, ever. In his prime, the top of his peak, there was no one better. He would win by the Masters by 12, 15 strokes. There just wasn't anyone close.
Keeping silent on this one.
Yeah, I think Tiger Woods is number 10, one of the greatest golfers of all time. Should I have him higher, Matt?
ESPN
Sean?
had him at number 1.
Yeah, which I
In
think
golf or
No, just dominant
overall?
athletes. ESPN and ESPN's list was atrocious.
it was.
I'm not defending ESPN. I'm just saying,
But I have him
in
at number 10.
retrospect,
Sean,
ESPN
what
had
you
him
think?
number
I
1.
see you kind of high or low.
I think for what he did to golf is bigger than what anybody has done in the other sports, so that's why I think he would be higher.
I have my case, so don't worry. I'll defend Tiger.
Okay.
I have him higher.
I agree.
Spoiler
He
alert.
probably
No.
should be higher.
I thought that too, but you guys know how I feel about him, about the steroids.
He's never been proven to take steroids. Like, that's just your conspiracy.
So this is my
I
list.
don't think his build is like a Barry Bonds build.
Agree.
I don't. So
But
I think
he's
there may.
short.
I don't necessarily. Okay, we throw away the.
How did his body break
we
down
th-
so
we
bad
th-
then?
Because he did it
Because
since he was
he's
a child.
old.
Not everybody's
Oh,
LeBron.
No, guy, whoa.
He did it since he
Old.
was a child.
Yeah, but
Ever
guys,
since he was
golf.
raised playing golf.
People play golf until 45, 50. At 34 years old, his body broke
But
down.
but here's the difference.
He
Those
didn't get hit
people
with a
look-
9
Guys,
iron.
I can
Look
have
at-
a great example.
Look at John Daly is an out of shape guy. When you're working out more and working, whether you're taking whatever, even if you're taking supplements, not necessarily illegal supplements, but you're working a lot harder. You're putting a lot more pressure on you, and all the rounds that he's played since, like he said, since you were young, that takes a toll on your body.
Let me add this. We unloaded a truck today. I work out every single day, lift weights every single day. But bless you. Are you allergic to the truth?
Thank you.
I grab a box.
We can tell. We saw your Fit Meals
Thank
spot.
you. Shout out to Fit Meals. So
And
you
those
grab
guns.
a box. Thank you. You grab a box in the same motion over and over and over again. Your muscles wear down and get sore. So imagine doing that over the course of 20 years. And then now wait. In the NBA, you have Steph Curry, you have Chris Paul, you have Kawhi Leonard, you have Devin Booker, you have Giannis, you have Anthony Davis, you have Jimmy Butler. It just continues of players who are injured.
Okay.
And they have masseuses, they have days off, they have just everything you want. Private planes, they sleep at the Ritz-Carlton. But the thing is, they do that same motion every single day.
Okay.
It wears you down. And Tiger Woods has performed at the highest level since the very beginning. And that same motion you put is stress on your joints, on your muscles, and you wear down.
So what you just said, you said Kyrie,
I didn't even
Giannis,
mention Kyrie.
Anthony Davis. You said all these guys, right?
Yeah.
Were those guys all-stars this year?
No.
Who was?
But like they weren't an all-star. Like Kyrie wasn't an all-star this year. He didn't play, did he?
Kyrie, he was an all-star.
Oh,
he
he
was
got
on LeBron's
injured.
team.
Yeah. You know, you're right. Yeah. DeMarcus Cousins.
So he got hurt, but the next year, Tiger Woods, guys, for 5
Look at
years
Derrick
couldn't
Rose.
win a tournament. He just. I'm not saying you're saying one injury. It wasn't an injury, guys. It was multiple years of being the worst golfer in the world.
There's
He
a
couldn't
lot of
make a
NBA
cut.
players though that have
Far
injuries and
from
never
the
are the
worst golf
same.
in the world.
Yeah, and
No,
they're never
on
the
tour.
same.
On the tour, he
I s-
never.
Yeah, he could barely make the cut
no,
at
he
one
didn't
point.
make a cut, guys, for 5 years.
He
That's
also
not
had
the
a-
worst
there's-
golfer in the world.
He had a lot
That's
going
struggling.
outside of the course also, though. A lot
It's
of
very mental.
I can
Yeah.
see Dave's point though, but going
Golf
from the
is-
Kyrie Irving's
absolute,
not just going to fall off.
the GOAT of all times of
Yeah.
golf to going to I can't make a
He
cut.
can't make a cut anymore, guys.
That's a difficult stretch.
LeBron James is LeBron James. Steph Curry he was the 9th MVP this year and an All-Star, and now he's kind of hurt and banged up. He's not just off the freaking NBA. He can't make the team. He's dead.
My goal for this podcast was to make sure I let you guys finish your sentences, and this has never been as challenging as ever. Like, my thing is.
But did you get my point?
Yeah, but okay. What do you about free throws? Free throws is focus, right?
Sure.
Russell Westbrook's free throw percentage dipped. He has a lot going on. He knows his legacy is relying. If Paul George leaves again, that's Durant and that's Paul George can never win a championship again. So his focus plays with his shooting percentage. Golf is all about focus and accuracy. And when you have a lot going on at home, you're not stable. You just got caught drunk and driving. You had that affair with his wife. That can wear your focus
just
down
don't
where
get
you're
it.
not worried about
You
golf.
bringing up Westbrook. So his field goal, his foul shot dipped, but he's still an All-Star this year. He's the 6th MVP. He's the 9th best player in the world. He's still a legitimate NBA All-Star, going to make the playoffs. Tiger Woods is dead. Can't make a tournament.
Well, he's
not
not
for
dead
a year.
anymore, by the way.
5 years.
But
Greg Oden never played after an injury. Big man,
Greg
ne-
Oden was never an All-Star. He was never the
He
best
was
player in the league.
perceived to be. He was picked over
No,
Durant.
That's fine. Perceived to be. Tiger Woods was.
There's a
for
lot of
multiple
players
years.
who've gotten injured and never made it back because of the injuries.
Not on to Tiger Woods' level.
Derrick Rose is an MVP. Never been the same after his injury.
The one time, but that's a good one. But he averaged around 14 points a game after that.
Grant Hill.
He still
All-star.
scored triple doubles and was an All-Star. Actually, he was 2-time All-Star after the injury.
Never the
Tiger
same player, though.
Woods never.
I don't
Tiger
know.
Woods couldn't make a cut. I think you're missing. Yes, Sean.
The point I'm trying to make is we're talking about the biggest for the sport, the biggest influential, right?
Dominant. Yeah.
But what he does, how dominant he was when he was gone for those 5 years, golf's ratings were down.
Agreed.
Everything was down. So that shows how he was, and I think that because of that status,
Great
and because
point.
he was down,
Great
High
point.
fiving right now. People listening to the podcast.
for those
point.
5 years,
That's a good point.
It definitely affects the fact.
No, that's a very great point.
Wasn't he the highest paid athlete ever? He had the most in the bank. He was a billionaire for
79% of that was endorsements.
exactly. And
I don't
when
think I
all
can
his
back you up on this one. Floyd Money Mayweather, I think, is the highest paid.
I think
No.
so too. But
not at that point.
At one
Floyd-
point, it was.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So
Yeah.
like
I
12
think
years
it was
ago with Tiger.
Before
Right.
Tiger
Okay.
fell off, he had the most. Floyd Mayweather didn't hold a candle.
Yeah. Okay,
him.
cool. So, hey,
Look at
I
this,
love
look
this.
at
This is a
this.
great debate. This
That was
was
number
what we
10?
wanted. That was
Yeah,
number
he's
10.
higher on my list.
This will be
Okay.
a 7.5 long podcast. I hope you're
My-
driving to North Carolina.
My number 10.
Yep.
Lionel Messi.
Oh,
Ooh, that's
He's
a
got to
good
be.
one.
He's got to be
Soccer.
thrown in there.
not on my list.
Really?
Really? Messi's not on your list?
Not on the list. What does he do?
Tell me about Lionel Messi.
Guys, you don't think he's on there? What? So what? Give me
no,
your
no. I'm saying.
No,
tell me
give me
about
your
him.
points why he's not on there.
I didn't say he wasn't. I said tell
You
me
just
about
said
him.
he wasn't.
No, I didn't.
He's
said,
dominant.
"Tell me
He
about
wins
him."
I said
all
tell
the
me about him.
time.
I said tell me about him.
I just said he wins all the time.
He
When
doesn't
you-
win, doesn't win a World Cup.
Okay, we have a lot of people have won. Charles Barkley didn't win a championship.
He's not on
still
my list.
Dominant.
He's
still
not my top
dominant.
20.
I just wanted you to talk about soccer. I really wasn't
And,
arguing
and
with
that's
you.
my thing too.
And soccer's really hard to judge as far as that, though. Like, as far as championships, yeah, okay, I get your point. But as far as dominant, the man is dominant.
Okay, that's a good call. Hey, and that's your opinion. I think soccer is the most. I'm going to try to say this right, I think. Soccer, you can take out a player easily the best. I think I butchered that. I think when they want to stop Messi to score, they can stop Messi to score. And I think he's never won a World Cup. And he's never done it in America. I think that hurts my list as well.
He has an under 20 World Cup.
Can I interrupt one thing, though? You said not in America.
Correct.
Soccer is the most popular sport worldwide,
Agree.
and he's the biggest star in soccer. So
Agree.
he's technically the biggest athlete worldwide. So when you say not in America, that's not a blemish
I would
on
argue
it.
that.
Well, he's not a blemish by not being successful in America because soccer is more global, and they're bigger in other places than America.
You talk about never. He's only 30.
I didn't say that was a blemish on him.
Yeah, but that's
Nowadays.
kind of getting old for soccer,
That's
isn't
for
it?
Soccer. And hey, it's an opinionated list. I have no soccer players on my list at all.
That's a little tough.
I
That's
was
a
gonna
little
put on
cold.
Cristiano
That's a little
Ronaldo.
cold.
I just think,
Just because it's not an American sport. Come on now.
well, no, if
Well, Max probably doesn't have NASCAR on his list.
With Kristen Pulisic,
It would have been on my 15 through 20.
with Kristen Pulisic, when he's amazing and he dominates American soccer and wins World Cups, he'll make my list. Okay,
Sound like Skip Bayless over here. Anyway, keep going. So now you're number 9.
my number 9. We talked about him a little bit earlier because Sean brought up Derek Jeter.
I didn't bring up Derek Jeter.
You brought up this guy, Mariano Rivera.
Over Messi.
I'm a diehard Yankee fan. What Mariano Rivera was the most dominant closer of all time when he got into the game. The Yankees won, and they won World Series, and they won championships. I think he, at his craft, he has the most saves ever. He has the most postseason saves ever, and the most World Series saves ever. I think he's the greatest closer of all time. I think he's the most dominant pitcher of all time.
He definitely has the best intro music of all time.
What is that intro music? You're
You're ruining his case. You're ruining his case.
I was just trying to let the.
Exit light into night.
You mean
That's
Enter
backwards.
Sandman? Enter Sandman by Metallica?
Enter Sandboard?
Yeah, I was
that's
thinking
in
that,
there.
right? Number 9, Mariano Rivera.
My number 9, you already mentioned. I have Peyton Manning, number 9.
Ooh, good one.
He was just like Sean. You kind
My
of hit on every
14.
point I could possibly hit on. Not only what he has accomplished on the field, but what he did off the field and what he represented it, and the way he carried himself. And he was the face of the NFL, which is the most popular league in America. And he's just one of the smartest football players to ever play. And to not give him the honor of putting him in the top 10 is just plain disrespectful. So
Tell him to win in the postseason every once in a while.
he did.
He has a losing record in the postseason.
Okay, but you said tell him to win once in a while. He did win once in a while. He won a Super Bowl.
Twice.
He's won twice, but
Come on
as
now.
the most dominant, he made 14. It's not like he's crazy off of me. He should be higher. His regular season dominance was a lot better than his postseason.
Yeah, no
dominance.
argument with that. But when you say win once in a while, you have to watch your statement because he did win once in a while.
He should have won more.
Okay, that's why he's
He
not
won
higher
two.
though. All right, so now let's go jump right into number 8.
Number 8. He is my, he's my favorite athlete of all time.
Oh gosh.
LeBron James. Number 8. I got the shoes. He's my favorite basketball player of all time. Loved him since birth. LeBron James, number 8. 7 straight NBA Finals appearances. 3-time MVP.
He should be
the
on your
face
list right
on
Max
Max you're
right
so
now.
Max
Oh.
is so upset with me right now.
I don't think his
call your-
face is
don't-
redder than your shirt.
I know.
Don't call yourself a LeBron fan. Number 8. Okay, let's
One
go.
of the best regular season, stat-wise, most points, all this stuff. He should be higher. He's lost too many NBA Finals. He's 3-5 in the finals. What he did against Dallas will always be a blemish on his resume. But he dominated the East. So I think 8 is a perfect number. He should be in the top 10. He shouldn't be higher. He's only won 3 NBA championships. There's players on my list that's won more championships than him in basketball during this time. So he's number 8. LeBron James, I love him dearly. And hopefully he's higher in a couple years.
Woosah. Woosah.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
I can't even look at you in the eyes. I had to stare at JT's fresh shirt. All right, my number 8, Shaquille O'Neal.
That's a good one.
He
That's a good one.
caused
That's
the
good.
NBA to change rules. He tore down baskets, the most dominant big man to ever play in the NBA. And people think Kobe, of course, helped him out. I'm not saying he didn't have help.
Yeah.
But when they won the championship, he won the finals MVP every year when Kobe was on his team.
And he's got 5 championships.
5
or 4?
championships,
5?
and I think 3. No, he has 4 championships, because he won one with Miami after,
With
and that was
Dwayne
it.
Wade. Okay.
And then 3 final MVPs.
Cool.
And those were all with LA. And what he did, nobody could guard him. Absolutely nobody can guard him in the paint. If I were to draft a center in an overall draft, I think we've done that before, if aliens came to Earth kind of thing.
Yeah,
Shaq is my center.
I concur.
All right, so no argument there?
No argument. Love
Cool.
it.
Number 7.
Number 7 for me is Roger Federer,
Nice.
the greatest tennis player of all time.
I'll cut that out.
I just said 4,018 words and I miss up one word and 3 people are going to laugh at me? You talking to Mike for 3 hours, Max.
I am. I'm on the
He's
show
a-
with you.
He's a tennis player, okay? I just think he's the best.
Really? You have him over Pete Sampras?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Over Andre Agassi. And the reason why I have him, I think, this high. Max, you okay?
He's lost it.
He
but
lost
it's
I'm
it.
good,
fine.
man.
Keep
Let's
going.
go.
Giggles are coming.
Let's go.
I think with Nadal and Djokovic, I think I nailed that name. Those are 2 of the greatest golfers of all tennis players, golfers.
This is
It's
you're
fine.
digging a
Green
coffin
jacket,
right
gold
now.
jacket. Who gives
All
a
right,
shit?
let's go. All right.
So I got him at number 7. He's had a dominant run over 14 to 15 years. So to me, that's how it cracks him in my top 10. I have him at number 7, Roger Federer.
Whew. I think I have a better number 7. Personally, I have Tom Brady.
The best baseball player ever.
right. The greatest NFL football player
At number
to
7?
ever play.
Oh
Yes,
my
I do.
Gosh.
He
That's a bigger insult than LeBron at 8.
Yeah.
watch your mouth.
Absolutely.
That is not. No, it's not. And the reason why I have Tom Brady there and not higher is because of the people in front of him. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Tom Brady,
Disrespect.
but the way these people in the field, like ahead of him, dominated, I think is even greater than Tom Brady. But to be the greatest player at any sport, that's just speechless. Say you're the greatest football player of all time, the greatest basketball player of all time. So I have Tom Brady up there. Obviously, he has 5 Super Bowls. He almost won. Super Bowls. He almost won 6 if he didn't lose to the Eagles. If he won that one, he'd probably be higher. But number 7, Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Nice. Great pick, Max. Before I get to my number 6, just check out shop.spreadshirt.com/lockedin with 2 N's.
By the way, JT, please prepare the horn for every top 5.
Every top 5?
Shop.spreadshirt.com/lockedin.
With 2.
2 N's. There you go. Locked in
right.
with 2 N's.
Number 6. You ready, Cuzzo?
Yeah, let's go.
And this is cool. This is where you and I probably agree the most because this is where I think you and I are almost identical. You had him at 8. I have him at 6. Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice.
You said nothing but great things. I can't go above it. Dominant. Changed rules. Best center of my generation. Took the Lakers to 3 straight NBA championships. Dominant.
Nice.
Shaq at number 6.
My number 6 is Serena Williams.
Okay.
She was pregnant while she was winning, in case you guys didn't know that. I think what she represented is actually greater. What?
So was she a doubles champ?
She actually is with her sister,
Right.
Venus.
So is that a triples?
Wow. Okay, I didn't think about it this deep into it. I was just gonna say she was a great athlete, and I think obviously she's so successful in her sport, but I think she represents so much to like female athletes. And if you talk to anybody, how much she had an influence on all these athletes that talk about her. So I have her at 6. I put her above Tom Brady because
That's
she elevated her sport. Like, there's a lot of big stars in the NFL. We mentioned Peyton Manning. You talk about Belichick. But Serena Williams and what she did for tennis, I relate to what Tiger did at golf.
Yeah.
That's what I have for the sport.
Max.
She-
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. That's your number 6? Wow. Way off, Max. All right, my number 5 is Serena Williams.
Wait, horn.
Oh, a horn?
There's supposed to be a horn every time we go 5.
Ready? It's you can't hear it, but ready?
I heard it through Sean's headphones.
Awesome.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
number 5 was Serena Williams. That's
Okay.
We are one off. Absolutely a role model for females. The best female tennis player of all time.
You got the sport right.
There you go. I'm a wordsmith.
My number 5.
You want me to do it in between each?
Yeah,
five?
every
Okay.
time. Every
Ready?
time. I need effect. Here we go. My number 5 is Tiger Woods. I think you disrespected the man. If he was found guilty for steroids, I would say, Dave, you're right on the money. But the fact that he wasn't proven to be on steroids, I can't just like downgrade his play and his accomplishments off he could have been. Because there's a lot of athletes throughout time that could have been, that never been proven. I need the facts. Was he not? He has not been proven to be on steroids, so I'm taking for what he did. Sean, you hit it best. What he did to golf and the ratings he produces every time he plays is just out of this world. And what he means to golf, I think, is way more than obviously the people behind him mean. Because like when you think of golf, you think of Tiger Woods. And I could argue with a lot of other sports, you think of a multitude
do.
of athletes.
I don't. I think Arnold Palmer.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That sweet tea is delicious.
I was supposed to say astronomical, by the way,
I
what
think
he does to
social
golf.
media has had a big impact on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nowadays, yeah, Tiger Woods. But like I've played golf since I was little. I think Arnold Palmer. He's the number one person
Yeah,
I think when I
and-
think golf.
Not Jack Nicklaus?
No, Arnold Palmer and then Jack Nicklaus.
18 majors.
And where's Tiger Woods at right now? As far as he was the favorite to win it.
16 majors, right?
15, I think, last time I
15.
saw him.
Tiger?
He won 15 so quick. It's unbelievable. He hasn't won one in 5
He's
years.
still young. He's still younger than when Jack won his
Because he won it
18.
so quick.
Where is he right now as far as like the status? Okay, Sean's going to be looking it up because if he does win it after this kind of drought he was in that you mentioned,
Yeah.
like that just even adds more to his
I
legacy.
totally agree. No, yeah, that's a great pick. Your
Oh,
list
he's
has
a
been
great
awesome.
golfer, no
Yeah.
doubt.
I mean,
He
he was
was
just fifth in the
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer Invitational.
He started the last 2 weeks in a row. He's been pretty good. Like,
Yeah,
he's getting
he was the
it.
favorite to win the Masters. I don't think he should be the favorite. I was just what he means to golf. It's just astronomical. There we
Yeah,
go.
Awesome. Good pick. So that was your number 5?
Yep, number 4.
Number 4. This is Dave's number 4, top 20 dominant athletes in the last 20 years. Usain Bolt. Number 4.
My number 4, Usain Bolt.
you
There we go.
serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Number 4. He's the fast. Oh, I'll let you say the point. Go ahead.
Hey,
He's the fastest man on earth.
ever.
Ever. Yeah, like, ever. And
Like
it's.
we're family or something.
I think so.
He's a real life Flash.
He's. That's what. Yeah, he
I was
is.
like, you haven't seen him when the bar opens.
He is
Good
the
one.
fastest man on earth.
Oh.
Every time you saw him race, he's winning.
3
Like,
Olympics. I think he won 21 out of 22 races in the Olympics, something like that, or 20 out of 21. Yeah, the fastest human being ever. Dominated the running in the Olympic Games.
every record he practically broke.
Wow, both of us had number 4. That's awesome.
Number
Okay.
3, you go first.
This is my top 3. All right, number 3 on Dave's top 20 dominant athletes is Floyd Money Mayweather.
Number 3 on Max Van Auken's list. Floyd Money Mayweather.
I swear, people, we did not look at each other's list. We've been hiding it for days.
50.
Really?
Yeah, number
we have
3.
4 and 3 to go.
Yeah, 50-0.
Yeah.
Why is he not number 1?
Okay. I have 2 reasons why. One is I feel like he picks his opponents at the right time. I feel like if he would have fight Manny Pacquiao 4 years ago and this guy at this time, I feel like he
Ducks
picks
fights a little bit.
a little bit. He pinpoints fights. He
Hand picks fights.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman.
during George Foreman's prime.
Yeah, and he fought Smoking Joe Frazier, and that's why he's not the greatest boxer in my eyes. He has the greatest record.
boxer of my generation, our generation. I
Yeah.
think 50-0. But yeah, he doesn't. Number 3 is amazing.
Oh yeah,
He's in my top 3.
and also let's talk about the income, of course. What he did for all athletes as far as the standard of money.
Yep.
That's his nickname. The highest paid athlete, and I think he still is, right? He has to be. After that Conor fight, over $100 million, I think he's number 1 still. Could be wrong.
I'm
Definitely over Tiger because the wife
Oh,
got
yeah.
half.
Yeah. All right, number 2.
Amen. Not amen.
I think we have the same number 2, too.
The worst thing is, I'm looking at my list. I really don't know who your number 1 or 2 is. This is crazy. to
We
me.
have the same number 2, definitely a different number 1.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah.
My number 2 most dominant athlete for the last 20 years. Tom the GOAT Brady. Max is so mad at me.
I thought we had the same number.
No, you have him way too low.
Okay, yeah.
NFL is the biggest sport in the world, in America, most watched sport. It's the hardest to win. Seattle was great for a year or two. Now they're down. It's so hard. It's such a big team sport. The Patriots have dominated the NFL, the AFC East for 15 years. Tom Brady, 5-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time NFL MVP, 8-time making it to the Super Bowl, lost on the David Tyree catch, lost to an unbelievable great game by Philly. Tom Brady, the greatest football player of all time in the most stressed position, quarterback, hardest position to play in all of sports. Tom Brady, number 2.
I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. Before I introduce my number 2, I just want to tear a couple points away. Is the reason why, point number 1, why he wasn't number 1 or 2 on my list was because of the people I said ahead of him and what they mean to the sport. But also, and now if I were to play devil's advocate, and I'm a Tom Brady fan, like
Just
I
real
said.
quick, what you just said. You said mean to the sport, right?
Yes.
This list wasn't the most meaningful athletes
It was
or
dominant.
most meaningful sport. Yeah, dominant athletes.
Yeah, and part of dominant is being meaningful. And what Steph Curry isn't as dominant as Russell Westbrook, but what he means to the sport, he changed the game. He's not as Russell Westbrook
disagree.
averaged a triple-double. He's not as dominant as Russell Westbrook, but what he
Wins more.
meant to the game is revolutionary. And that's a part of dominant, is what you do and your impact on something is being dominant. That's why I have that. So number 2, a lot of people, the Tom Brady haters out there, which is not me, but to speak on their behalf, would be Bill Belichick is a huge part of his success. So if you take part of it, like when you mention his success and his dominant part of his game, you have to take part of what he also had and acquired. Like a lot of reasons why Tim Duncan isn't ahead of Kobe Bryant on his list was he was involved with Greg Popovich, arguably the greatest coach of all time, in the system he acquired in San Antonio. So I think you do have to take everything in retrospect. Now, that's not me personally, but that's what a lot of people do say on Tom Brady's blemish on his resume would be that. Fair to say? Bill Belichick definitely had a huge role in his success. You can't say he does not. Coaching clearly matters in the NFL.
Absolutely. But I just don't think I think I get into words. I don't think that's a blemish. So I think Bill Belichick has helped Tom Brady. Absolutely. They have a great owner. That helped Tom Brady.
Maybe not a blemish, just a, however you say that word, asterisk.
I just think Tom Brady still has to throw the ball.
Completely different reason.
Have to score touchdowns. He still is smarter than any other quarterback, works harder, is, for being as old as he is, really healthy, has stayed healthy. He's torn his ACL one time, but is usually always on the field. I just think he's the most dominated athlete in football. The AFC East, it's the Patriots division. AFC, even next year.
Dominating, you mean? I thought you said dominated, so I'm like, he's not dominated.
No, dominating. Like he owns the AFC. He owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. He kind of owned Peyton Manning. That's why he's not higher on my list. So I have him as number 2.
All right.
I don't know about the Steelers. I mean, 6 rings.
My number 2.
Sorry, hold on. My phone.
My number 2.
I got it.
Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of all time, the most decorated Olympian of all time, the most medals, the most gold medals.
Shots fired! Smoke weed every day.
You're trying to disrespect my spiel here. What he did,
I love him for it.
he is the greatest Olympian of all time, the greatest swimmer of all time. We talk about Usain Bolt, the fastest man on earth. They had Michael Phelps race a shark.
That was CGI. That was
Okay,
an actual
but
race.
but the fact that that's even a question, like to race a shark, I don't know if I would beat a dog.
That was never a question.
But come on, you know my point here. He is
I
so
know your
fast. He made
I'm
people
in
look
awe right
slow.
now. I'm
What?
in awe. I
You're
have,
mad that Michael Phelps is number 2?
No. You'll see.
You have him number. I'll let you say number
I
1.
do, but I have zero idea who his number 1 is. None.
Okay, don't say anything, guys.
It's
if you don't.
exciting.
Okay, so that's my number 2 is Michael Phelps. You're happy with him that high, though, obviously.
Absolutely, because
Okay.
we will go to my number 1. Michael Phelps, guys.
Okay.
Over 4 Olympics, 23 gold medals. If you win 1 gold medal in your life, you can die a happy man. You can tell your grandkids about it. He's got 23 gold medals, 28 medals total. Over 4 Olympics, the most dominant athlete of all time.
Okay, my number 1 is LeBron James. Let me explain why he's number 1. Okay, I'm going to read a list to you guys. The greatest
I am
players.
shocked.
No, right? No, seriously. I'm going to read a list. You ready? Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kevin Durant, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal. Did I say Kobe Bryant yet? Did I say John Stockton, Karl Malone? The all-time greats, right? Have never gone to 7 straight NBA finals. I'm not listing the top players right now. The top players of all time have never been to 7 straight NBA finals. He owns the East. He is the most influential athlete for civil rights right now and on the court. He is obviously the highest rated, most talked about athlete. He's the most dominant athlete of all time. That you could literally make the argument if he went to the NFL, he would be a legitimate player. You could also say LeBron James is the only player to have 35,000 career points, 10,000 career rebounds, and 10,000 career assists that no any other players come close to. He is in a league of his own, and what he does to the NBA, if he were to move to the West, they would change the whole format of the NBA playoffs, where it's 1 through 16, because the East would be that bad without LeBron. He's about to go to an 8th straight finals.
Nope.
He clearly is. This Kyrie Irving's out. The Celtics are terrible. LeBron is going to go to an 8th straight finals, play 1 through 5, guard 1 through 5, do everything Magic can do, everything Jordan can do, and more. I rest my case, LeBron James.
I'm going to say one line. I'm going to say it slow, and I'm going to say it low. LeBron James is dominant at being second place.
Stop. Come on.
Hey,
That is
how
so bad.
How many gold medals does
Come
LeBron James have?
on.
3.
If he could have
That's
individual...
not 23, though.
If he could have individual gold medals, it's a team sport. And that's another part of my thing right now is this. Michael Phelps is in let's see who could swim the fastest. That's where you get a medal. If LeBron James could say who's the best basketball player in the world every time he went to the Olympics, he would have more than 23 gold medals.
But there is
It's a team-
basketball in the Olympics, and that's a world sport.
And he wins every time he goes. The thing with LeBron James is that it's a team sport, and no matter what Michael Jordan didn't go to the Bulls and go to the Wizards and take the Wizards to the finals. LeBron James, no matter what team he's gone to, goes to the NBA Finals.
What
He
can you
beat-
say about the Dallas Mavericks series?
What can you say when Michael Jordan got out in the first round? He's still the greatest player of all time in many's eyes. Tom Brady, he just lost to the Eagles.
And I have Tom Brady at number 2, but he's got 5 championships. LeBron's got 3.
Okay, but he also has more regular season MVPs than Tom Brady. He also has more records that nobody's close to than Tom Brady does.
No, actually, Tom Brady has more records than LeBron James.
I would argue that right now.
Iced coffee?
I would argue. How do you want to prove this? Because LeBron James, if you look at
Google image
individual
records.
accomplishments, LeBron James has a huge list. Most points in a rookie season, most assists in a rookie season, and you go first one to accomplish this. It's LeBron, bro. Every game he breaks
That's
a record.
Not that's
That's an accomplishment.
No, that's accomplishment. That's not a record.
Yes, it is. The first one to do something is a record.
No, that's an accomplishment. That's
Guys,
not a
can I get
record.
your opinion on it? If the first one
Look
to
up in
this
the
amount of
dictionary.
points, that's a record. There's a reason records are meant to be broken because you could say I broke LeBron's record and scored this amount of points in my rookie year. It's a record. They have a record on who's the highest scored rookies. That's clearly a record. They keep record
I think
of
it's
it.
accomplishment.
Everything's a record.
Yeah, it's a record.
That's
They
new.
keep
It's a
record of it.
record.
Yeah, they keep a record of it.
But records and accomplishments, I would say, are basically the same thing.
Exactly. So LeBron James has more accomplishments.
Then Tom Brady.
Yes,
I don't think so.
I do. And when it's all said and done, he definitely will too because he'll play 20 years in the NBA. But my point being,
But he's-
LeBron James is the
These
most
lists are
dominant.
great. The lists are great. Hey,
I just want to say that
I had LeBron.
Dave and Max are both standing up.
Yes.
pacing.
First
This
time
is how
ever.
exciting this is.
Passionate. LeBron
And-
is
is
the best.
Brady has one accomplishment over LeBron.
Yep.
He's got better hair.
I'll give
Oh,
you that.
I would say
I'll give
rest in peace.
Giselle?
LeBron
And
has a
wife.
better beard. LeBron has a better beard and better tats.
Who has the biggest net worth?
Tom Brady.
Probably Tom. Oh no, LeBron. He just signed. He signed $1 billion contract with Nike.
That is true.
$1 billion contract with
Yeah,
Nike.
that's true. So it is LeBron. I don't know. I think 1,000%. You had a really good point about LeBron. Just about off the court and Tom Brady off the field. LeBron is easily more important, dominant off the court. What he does for kids and a role model. It was so funny. When I was making my list, guys, I'm a greatest LeBron James fan ever. I had him at 8. And I started looking at the list.
Apparently you're not. I was going to say, apparently you're not.
Yeah, that was disrespectful. at
I
8.
think
Come
it's
on now.
we're nice played. Michael Phelps had the little weed problem that Sean said. Tom
It's
Brady.
not a problem.
LeBron hasn't had a problem.
Tom Brady has been suspended. Floyd Mayweather maybe hit his wife or probably hit his wife. That's on it. Usain Bolt's been caught. Serena Williams. Tiger Woods steroids.
What did
Kobe
Serena
Bryant
Williams do, bro?
She got pregnant.
LeBron James has never done a wrong thing in his life. The guy is as clean as a whistle, best human being ever in sports.
There you go. That's why he's.
But he's not
one.
number 8.
That's why
He's number 1
one
on your list. Max, great list, man. I love it. Your top 15 were awesome.
But he had to leave. Brady's won all of his stuff on one team. That's
Very
an argument.
true.
Not saying that.
But
not-
NFL's a little different than the NBA in that perspective.
But that's I'm just saying that's an argument that people can make against him because he has jumped ship twice,
I would use
maybe a third time, and I think that takes away from the legacy just a bit.
I would say it adds because that shows that no matter where you go, you can win. You're not built into that place, and that's why you're winning.
Jordan
You-
left and came back to a completely different team and won.
No,
again.
but he still had Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman.
Not
and he
both
also
times.
Yes, he did.
No, he had
never
Scottie
won.
Pippen once and Rodman the other time. He didn't have them both at the same time.
Yes, he did.
He didn't have Rodman in the first 3, buddy.
Oh, okay. I know what you're saying.
He had
But
Horace
still
Grant in
had,
the top 3.
but he still had Scottie Pippen, and he still had
Yeah.
a great team, still in the same franchise.
Sure, yeah.
He never went to another team.
But
and won a
besides
ring.
Pippen, it was the only other player that he really had.
Just
So
looked it up. LeBron James net worth, $400 million.
That's awesome.
That's more than Giselle.
Yeah, he's
I
just.
think you think he's got more net worth than Floyd Money Mayweather?
If they're not adding, obviously, the $1 billion contract with Nike.
Well, because it's his lifetime, so he's going to get it.
Long term, yes. Right now,
No,
I think so.
Because
Probably.
Floyd will spend like money 10 years. I think he'll be broke, and LeBron will be a
Smart.
billionaire.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers
I don't even
10
know.
years from now.
That would be interesting. That really would be interesting.
And win a championship as an owner, the dominant athlete of
And
all
his
time.
son
Do you
will be
think
on
he-
the team.
Do you
Yep.
think he coaches?
No.
No. But wow. General manager or owner, I see.
No.
We said like
No.
6 time words at the same time. Max, great list, bro.
You
That was
too.
awesome, man.
Yeah, that
Very
was
cool.
That was outstanding.
So that's our top 20 most dominant athletes. Join the Facebook conversation of Locked In. Join the community, guys. Tell
Are
us
we going
who
to put
you-
this up on the community?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I think it'll be a big debate.
I know I'm
definitely
gonna get heat because even if I say LeBron had a great game, Coach Tremont, shout out to Coach Tremont, like Jordan's better.
Hashtag goat cheese.
Yeah, it's like come on now. So I know I'm gonna get feedback on that one, but like I said, I'm holding strong.
Awesome, Cuzzo. You want to dribble to the March Madness talk?
Ah, I see what you did. Okay, I just want to address it then. Since we're there, I had it locked in. That was incorrect. I said Duke was going to win the NCAA March Madness championship.
Yeah.
They lost to Kansas in an overtime thriller.
Awesome game.
Malik
God, that was
Newman, who was a stud #1 shooting guard out of high school, had a weird freshman year at Mississippi State. He transferred over to Kansas this year. He had 32 points against Duke. He played out of his mind. He hit every open three you're supposed to hit. and it was just one of the best games I've ever seen. So obviously, I was incorrect. I think the winner. And you know what? I'll save that for my locked in. Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the Final Four. Like, I love that Villanova-Kansas matchup. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the other side of the bracket, you got Michigan, who, at a 3 seed, a lot of people had them going deep into the bracket, versus number 11, Loyola.
Pete. God, I'm sorry if I butcher your name, sir, but Pete Fiera.
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah, he commented.
that guy.
Yeah,
That guy's
he's an
awesome.
awesome
Spruce
man.
Creek
He's an
legend.
awesome guy. He said he had Michigan and Villanova, I believe. I believe Villanova, but he definitely had Michigan in the final championship. He said his bracket's still good.
That's awesome.
As far
I saw
as my
that
Final
on
Four.
Facebook.
Yep, locked
Yeah,
in on
Pete-
Facebook, like the page.
I believe he actually
group.
works for the city of Port Orange. I
Yeah,
think.
he's awesome.
He's a good guy.
He taught me a lot about shooting. That
Hey,
make a
Pete,
shoot.
shout out to you, man, for being a good person.
Like LeBron. Anyway, keep going.
No, I think March Madness has been awesome. I think people they're like, it was too many upsets, and I think that will always happen just because players are leaving so quick, the one and done. But I think Villanova and Kansas, 2 number 1 seeds, they're powerhouses, they're blue bloods, and then you have the upsets on the other side. But Michigan's the number 3 seed; they are the Big Ten champion. So I think it's great. I think it's cool to have one dark horse in there, one Cinderella story. I love the Final Four.
Is my theory kind of grown on you a little bit as far as, okay, forget whether or not athletes should get paid or not. Like, just drop that. I'll just say you guys took the win on that one. If you were to have a player that's NBA ready, he can enter the NBA draft, but if he doesn't get drafted, he can go back to college and he has to play at least 2 years of college basketball.
Absolutely. I love it.
Because it wouldn't have this watered-down version of college basketball. You'd still have a lot of star players. The competition would be greater. And I'm not saying upsets are bad for college, but ratings don't lie. People like seeing Kansas Duke.
Absolutely. I always thought it was so dumb that an 18-year-old kid can get shipped off to Afghanistan but can't play basketball in Oklahoma City. It doesn't make sense to me. If he's a great basketball player and he wants to get drafted into the NBA, there should be no age group. If he's a 14-year-old and gets drafted, he should get drafted.
If he can join the LeVar Ball League, why
I don't-
can't
I
he join the NBA?
I don't get it. You could be Justin Bieber, who was 16 years old, making $1 million singing.
Why can't you do that if
What's
you're...
the girl from Full House? She was like 6 years old. She was a billionaire because she was funny.
Why are you making that
The
face?
You
twins.
Sean?
mean the twins?
Yeah, the twins, Mary Olsen.
Mary
Kate.
Kate and Ashley Olsen?
Damn, JT, you do that way too fast.
I think a lot of it with the touring type deal with sports. I think it's tough to have a minor.
Okay, so not
Over
over a minor.
Right,
Are you cool with
18,
that?
Yeah.
Well, when you
I
graduate, you're
like-
normally 18.
Right. Well, he was saying 16. He said 14, 16.
okay, okay.
That's where I was getting at there.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to clear. You said it real quick. I just want to go over it again. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it's what I think it is,
Certainly.
I really like the idea. So you're saying senior in high school, eligible for the draft.
Yes.
They could get drafted by a team on the NBA.
Yes.
They could go on there. They can do what they need to do with him. If they don't, then they would have to play a minimum of 2 years.
Yes, so to develop, and then it would also help the college sports,
What-
college ratings.
What would you feel about what they do in baseball, where they have like the minor leagues? What about drafting 18, but maybe making you play the D League for a couple years?
Oh, that's a tough question, Sean.
But to go along with your point, then the same thing in football. Why? What's the deal? Are you doing that across every sport, or
Well-
just basketball?
Well, I mean, like tennis, you can have a 16-year-old tennis player.
It's a great question, but to answer your question first, I'm sorry, I know you asked the question first, but JT, I think football isn't having the same issues college basketball is. Like college basketball just had this huge scandal on the recruiting, on the watering down. It's not, you don't have the best players that long, so the program's always changing. And here comes Dave from his little pretzel break.
Yeah,
Dave, I
football
want-
players will play 2 or 3
I think it's a
seasons
great-
easy.
3
I-
seasons.
I don't think it's a bad idea, the baseball. Here, can you ask it one more time for Dave?
Okay, so he had mentioned since Dave left, I think he had to go pee or get a pretzel. I don't know, something like
That's
that.
what we do here at Locked
Wait,
In.
You
The
didn't
two
gra-
Ps.
He didn't grab me a beer. I know, whatever. Anyway, so let me ask you the
selfish.
question I asked Max. So he said 18, you can get drafted in the NBA.
Yeah.
If you don't, you have to go back and play minimum 2 years in the college.
I love it.
What about drafting or being able to 18? What about 2 years D League versus college? Like draft them out as a team, but like what baseball players do, or baseball, they have the minor league system. what would you say? Do you think it would take away from the college atmosphere, or do you think, or having that D League, having like a Lonzo Ball type guy that's not going to want them to play on the team, but whatever, but have them play for a D League, get those reps, but maybe not ready for the NBA?
It's a great idea. I think going to college would be better for the kid.
I agree.
Okay. So is that it?
Keep going.
No.
I thought you had more. I was just saying I agree.
I do
Keep
have
going.
more, but you agree. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
You thought he was going to disagree?
I was like, yeah. I just think going to North Carolina or to a big-time school, NC State, any school, Providence, Rutgers, whatever, you will learn more daily things. You will learn more going to school and being gauging your time to be an athlete. And it would help college basketball, which is, I think, the number one argument or problem that is going on with a kid going straight to the NBA. If they go to the D League, I feel like they could get lost in the D League, if that makes sense.
That's a great point. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like
but it could promote it a little bit. I mean, like baseball, you can have a minor leaguer play in a baseball for 4 or 5 years, getting up there. Yeah, they might get lost, but they're getting that experience. They're gaining that experience. And say somebody gets hurt, they have the rehab. Playing in that D League can help them.
Yeah.
And get in a more professional environment, play with the NBA rules versus playing the college rules, playing that type of.
That's a good point.
That type of environment.
That's a great question.
Because you play 1 year in college. Yeah, you're going from high school. You're doing this, because high school is completely different. You're playing the two halves in the NBA. You go to the D League, you're playing the 4 quarters. You're more NBA rules. You're getting more in line with that as more of a, not necessarily for the player, but development as a player. So to me, what's killed me, these one and dones, I hate it. That's why I don't like college basketball, because
So you like the theory of what my proposal
I like the
is.
theory of at least the 2 years, because one, they're not getting an education in 1 year.
No,
They're not. They're skating through a couple classes. They're going to take whatever they can to say they're here. They could give 2 shits about their education.
It's to make money for
Totally
the NCAA.
Right.
For college.
That's all.
That's what it is.
That they're forcing them to play 1 year so they can make them watch this March Madness, make them do that, and to me, it's a facade. I'd rather them, if they're going to do it, go to school, make them play at least 2 years, or do that sort of thing. But give them the option to get drafted. But if they don't, they have to wait. They have to play 2 years before they
I
can
love
get.
both your ideas. Yeah.
Who's the president of NCAA?
The devil.
Wow. Well, let's have a meeting
Dan
with
Gilbert?
him. Let's have him get in the studio, and let's talk to him.
He's officially locked out.
Well, if he wants to come on Locked In,
The
you can.
devil?
I want to debate with you.
To that point, do you think that college basketball is so basically you're saying or
Watered
they're
down?
saying watered down because they're not making them stick for the 4 years as say a college does for football? What if they made them stick for that? Do you think it would turn the league around or get it better? Or
It would help college, but that'd be awful for the kid.
My hand was
But-
raised. I'm playing, Dave. I'm playing.
But
Go,
to
go,
that
go.
effect, why would it be awful for the kid if they make him do it in college for football? Why don't they make him do it for basketball?
I think football's different, and here's why. Well, you see with football after 4 years, you see they make an immediate impact in the NFL because they're fully developed. Right? That's a
No,
grade right there.
not
Look
at all.
Leonard
I don't
Fournette
see that.
and
It all
Jackson.
depends on the athlete because I know everybody. My buddy Dallas Blaker went through 5 years.
Go Gators.
You're right, Gator legend. He's got national championship rings, and he got stuck behind Hines Ward, Antonio Holmes.
Why wasn't he unlocked in yet? That's the only question I have after all this.
I've reached out.
Okay,
But,
but back to your
it
point.
all
I don't think
depends
an
on who
NBA
it
player
is.
has an NBA ready player should have to stay 4 years. That's how I think 2 years max, like what Sean and I were talking about.
Minimum.
If you're not,
Minimum.
I'm sorry. If you're not ready, I just like my name. If you're not ready to make the league, that's why. You have to stay 2 years because you entered the draft. You
I
didn't
would
make
say
it.
they
Give you
need
2 years to
at
develop.
least.
Guys, top 20 list was great. Final Four is awesome. I loved both your ideas for the tournament.
We had an awesome interview with Anthony. We had a great debate about the 20 most dominant athletes the past 20 years. Talked about March Madness. Make sure you guys subscribe to Locked In on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and YouTube. Like all of our social media page, Locked In. We're going to be throwing something up, right, JT, on the Locked In community page as far as the 20 most dominant athletes. Get their feedback, so make sure you like the Locked In page. I want to say a special thank you to our sponsors here. We have Fit Meals. If you're really interested in starting a meal plan, this is definitely for you. He really works with you, what you don't like, what you're allergic to, what your goal is, and he will really work with you. Dimitri's an awesome guy. So definitely reach out to myfitmeals.com, or you can try to reach out to Dave and I. We could definitely give you the locked in, the scoop of it all and tell you information about it and make you contact him. And, Fit Meals. So definitely check them out. You know the number off the top of your head again?
844-FIT-4-U. That's 844-FIT-4-U.
We also have Wicked Cutz. Get back in the game. They're setting the trend for Daytona. They have 2 locations in Port Orange and Daytona. So make sure you check them out. They'll give you a fresh cut. JT Money came in with a fresh fade.
Oh, fresh is the fade.
From Frank. Shout out to Frank. And if you mention Locked In on Tuesday and Wednesday, you get $5 off your haircut. Download the Booksy app to book your appointment. And you can get right in the chair, get a fresh cut. Make sure you check them out on Facebook, Instagram, Wicked Cutz Barbershop. And lastly, we have Pep-Boys. Our boy over there, Richie, he's a football fan. He'll be on soon. He will give you the best deal for tires, anything that you have going on with your car.
Floor mats.
Yeah, it's the best.
Windshield wipers.
Alternators. They're full service station over there.
There you go.
Anything you need, they'll lock you in on a price over there. Richie will get you cut in. Richie's
I like it.
a good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. So make sure you check them out. They're on West International Speedway Boulevard, Daytona Beach. Check them out. Mention Locked In. He may give you a discount. Who knows? He likes Locked In. So make sure you check them out.
It's very possible.
Right?
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Make sure you guys, like
Thank you for
always.
listening. Drive safe, all right?
Oh, wait. Locked In.
Okay.
All right. What's your Locked In?
It's easy. The New York Yankees will win the American League East. I'm locked in.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yep.
My Locked In will be the winner of Villanova and Kansas will win the championship. I think that's a safe bet. Safe Locked In. I thought Duke was going to win it. They sadly lost to Kansas. You disagree?
I think my locked in was that Michigan took it.
I think it was too, actually.
I think
JT
so.
had Michigan the whole way.
Yeah, I think Kansas or Villanova.
I'm still riding with that Michigan.
They're the
There you
best
go.
overall team. Coaching is outstanding. I think Kansas coaching was absolutely tremendous.
It was.
Out of timeout. It was guaranteed a bucket. The play calls. So I think Villanova has great ball movement, great shooters, great coaching. Those are the 2 best organizations, franchises going forward in the championship.
Programs.
Yeah.
Programs.
Sorry, there you go. Programs. Greatest programs in the tournament. So make sure you, like always, guys, stay locked in.
Yeah, you now locked in with the best. We ain't rocking with the rest. And when it's game time, we gon' put you to the test. Come the ball, we hitting it, kicking it, or we dribbling, passing it, or we running, or it's the ring that we flip you in. So what's the news? You want the scoop? You gotta keep it locked to David Max podcast through your speaker box. What's poppin', my friend? You know the drop in. And the only thing left to do is keep it locked in.